Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Minagoroshi. This is going to be interesting. I wasn't expecting us to be following Rika, or I really wasn't sure what was going on. And to find out that Hanyu seems to be like a ghost or something following her around is kind of cool. So it turns out Hanyu's been with us in every single arc so far. We just weren't aware they were there because we can't see ghosts. That's kind of cool. So I guess in the end, she's going to suffer because Rika's going to die, and they're basically attached to each other. She can taste through Rika. I don't know if she's real yet. It could be a hallucination. Rika could have some serious delusions going on, but we'll find out, hopefully, in this arc. Otoko's snoring sounded so subtle while I stood by the window. Ah, we're back to Rika's perspective. Otoko? Nope, evidently asleep. I could tell she was sound asleep. She snores so cutely. Hanyu laughs and tries to poke Satoko's nose. Rika's just high every day. Yeah, sure. I looked up at the sky. Nothing was different about the moon, but the moonlight seemed warmer than usual to me. Oh, the music's actually quite loud. How did the music get so loud? Oh. The volume reset. That's interesting. Let's just turn you down a little bit. Not that I hate the music, but that was a little bit louder than I wanted it to be. Sorry, you seem to be in a good mood. Yeah, I think I am. I realized it only after Hanyu pointed it out. I really was in a very good mood. Next arc is, there was an Oni who we couldn't see until now, but now we can. After this, there was a Wraith who we couldn't see, but now we can. And then, at the end of the arc, there'll be a million ghosts following us around, and we'll be like, oh, everyone has their own personal ghost. What if they materialize? And suddenly, we become Fate Requiem. Yes, so we're in a good mood. We managed to change a small future. It wasn't a big future, but we changed something. Well, and hey, we've managed to avoid all three of the major failings of the previous arc so far. Or at least, from my perspective, we've done that. So otherwise, I wouldn't be enjoying the view of the sky on a humid night like this. I felt like bringing a toast to the moon. As I rooted around the back of the closet, Hanyu spoke to me, sounding noticeably upset. Rika, don't you even think about drinking? I deserve it, just tonight. Hanyu doesn't like alcohol. If I drink, Hanyu will also taste it, so she always complains when I try to drink. That's why I usually drink only when Hanyu is far away from me. Of course, she'll know right away when I do, but it's too late by then. No, you can't! You're too young to be drinking! Really? It's my body. I want to make my own decisions. I hate alcohol! You can't drink! I don't want to fight with you tonight. I'll dilute it with orange juice so you can handle the taste. Is that a deal? That's not the point. I don't like the smell of alcohol. You can't drink. Oh, come on. Come on. Hanyu jumped around and complained. She was making a lot of noise right where Satoko was sleeping. Stop it. You're gonna wake her up. No, I'm not. Remember, you're the only one who can hear me. Bleh. Oh, just who do you think you are? Hanyu, obviously. Zeon is followed by an illusion of how. She'll haunt him forever because she won't materialize. What a curse. On the other hand, maybe a blessing in disguise, the spirit of How watching over you when you sleep. I went to the refrigerator and took out a pack of orange juice and the spicy kimchi I usually use for her punishment. Oh no, let me ask you a question. Would you prefer if I ate this spicy kimchi to punish you, or drink a sweet orange juice cocktail while enjoying this beautiful moon instead? Why are we tormenting Hanyu? Hanyu clenched her lips while jumping up and down, ready to burst into tears. She should be disciplined for being that noisy, but she never has been since I'm the only one who can hear her. Besides, she's like air, so I can't even give her a spanking. She loves sweets, but she really hates spicy food. Stop jumping around. Satoko woke up suddenly and I had to hide my glass in a hurry. Satoko doesn't know about my drinking habit. What time do you think it is? She fell asleep again after speaking. See? She was bothered by you jumping around like that. You nighttime nuisance. This arc story reminds you a lot of anime too. You don't know why? Might be the horny ghost. I don't know. The ghost hasn't been super horny. I don't think. I mean, she's got actual horns, but she's not that kind of horny, right? Oh, oh. Just like I'm the only who can see her. I'm the only person who can hear the noise she makes. However, that's not the case all the time. Hanyu does exist in this world. Sometimes people can actually hear and feel her existence. It doesn't happen too often, and most people think they just heard some random noise. Based on my experience, people who are in a critical condition like Satoko tend to hear her more often. When I say critical, I mean those who've reached the L4 stage, as Yuri would describe it. At that stage, there's nothing that can be done anymore. They'll feel the existence and hear the noise of someone they can't see. It would really mess with their mind. Hanyu stopped jumping up and down and gave up as I started pouring alcohol into my glass. I wasn't drinking because I wanted to be mean to Hanyu. In fact, I always wished she would enjoy it too. I poured only a little bit of wine inside the glass and diluted it with plenty of orange juice. In fact, this cocktail is pretty much just juice. I also put some crushed ice inside the glass. With that, it looked like a real cocktail they serve at the bar. See, Hanyu? It's very diluted. I licked the edge of the glass to see how she'd react. I guess it's not that bad. Good. I'll be drinking this tonight. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore, right? Hanyu had been scared of that kimchi punishment for a while, and then as I put it back inside the fridge, she seemed relieved. So we got Ghost Girl and Rika attempting to be classy, drinking mostly red orange juice late at night. We'll call this blood orange juice. Yes, we'll go with that. I took the glass and headed back to the window. There was no, we'll call it a blood orange, because, get it, red wine. It's clearly red, right? Like the liquid is clearly red. If it was white wine, it would just look like orange juice, because there's like no light. There's like no real strong tint to it. Or it just looked like thin orange juice, maybe. I don't know, I haven't mixed a lot of wine and orange juice before. Doesn't seem like a drink for me, but as long as Rika enjoys it, it's all good. There was no breeze, but it seemed a little cooler. Hey, Hanyu, you feel something's different this time? Are you talking about Keiichi and Reina? Shion, too. Everyone remembers a little bit about their past. They seem to be using the memories to avoid their fatal mistakes. I don't think it would be that surprising if this is happening individually, but I find it strange it's happening to everyone all at once. I know I often use board games as examples of fate, but I feel like this is the same lucky chance as rolling all sixes on 3 dice. I think that's a good way to describe it, in the sense we're starting closest to your desired future. But I don't think this is the miracle you've been waiting for. I knew what she was trying to say. She was telling me not to expect too much. The die is designed to have 6 sides. It's not a miracle if I roll it and get a 6. A true miracle is when I roll it once but get a 10, like what happened with Keiichi in my previous life. In other words, a miracle is something that would normally never happen. Keiichi gave the doll to Mion. Reina spoke with her father, and Shion started taking care of Satoko after remembering her promise to Satoshi. I mean, these are all mostly new things. We've never actually seen Shion ever take care of Satoko. That is a big change. Almost like a miracle if you consider that if you think you've seen everything and then you see something you've never seen, clearly it's either a miracle or an incredibly improbable outcome, right? That was all because they had those intentions somewhere in their hearts. It was only a side of their die that was engraved there already, but still, even if you couldn't call the 3 dice rolling this well a miracle, it did mean good fortune. I'm sure it was God's way of celebrating you finally feeling motivated to change your fate. How about this for a follower goal? At exactly the follower account you have now, inviting you over for a nice dinner in Canada, and you want me to cover the cost of the trip and hotel? Just dinner, not drinks, right? That's a bit expensive for the current. That's quite the reward. Quite the reward. I'm not sure who would actually go for that. Would that be a competition, or are you just asking to automatically win that one? You'll invite me to drinks afterwards. I see, I see. I thought you were one of the gods. You only treat me like a god when you're trying to tease me. I'm kidding. Don't get upset. Anyway, that's why I'm in such a good mood tonight. I lifted the glass of orange wine and gave a toast to the moon. It tasted like nothing but sweet orange juice. It was funny to see Hanyu making a happy face as I took a sip. I wonder if I can escape the death of 1983 this time. If our goal is to escape from this board, I don't think we'll ever have such a fortunate start again. No matter how hard I tried to prevent things from happening, there were some things I could never control. It's such a huge letdown when that happens. Even after trying so hard, something renders my efforts infertile. I'd probably been wasting my time for so long because I was trying to escape from the pain. I mean, if she says there's gonna be like some poisonous gas released in town on a certain day, I think half the elders in town would believe her anyway and evacuate the town. Or at least stay the night in a hotel in the adjoining town, whose name I just forgot because I'm bad with names. Great. I'm like, it's not Hinamizawa, it's that other one. And it's not Oyashiro. Okinomiya, there we go. For the first time in my life, then, I've been blessed with a favorable situation. A good start. But you accelerated, you're off to a running start. Right at the gate, things are looking good. Can you maintain the momentum? The favorable momentum could be good. Everything seems perfect in this world. There's no reason for me to be depressed. It's like the weather is perfect and the wind's blowing just the right way. If I failed to put my ship out to sea, there was nothing to pin the blame on. I understood what Hanyu was trying to say with a concerned look on her face. If I didn't escape my death under this fortunate situation, I'd have to accept my fate wasn't something I could really change. This is an ideal world where all my friends overcame their problems. I was always in a depressing world, but this time all the pieces matched. If I couldn't change my fate in this world, it was proof I couldn't change it in any world. And that was the ending that I've been afraid of for a long, long time. The loss of hope and the death of my soul. I thought we'd already reached that. Of the pair of us, I was probably the only one who would die. Hanyu will most likely remain here even if my spirit disappears. And she must be afraid of being alone after I lose myself. After all, it took an entire century. It took centuries for her to find someone in the village. I mean, it's her fault for being in the village. Who could see her? Maybe she's anchored to the village, though. That's why she's telling me not to expect too much. I bit down on an ice chip inside my mouth, and it was pleasantly cold. Hanyu, I know we've been over this many times. I want you to think about me again. Sure. You want to know why you're being murdered in 1983? Yes. A strong will becomes fate. That means the reason I get murdered this year is because someone's strong will. Forcing it. I think you're right. Who benefits from killing Rika Furude? That person has a strong will. There must be a clear motive for them doing so. It might sound odd coming from me, but I think most people like Rika Furude. I don't think any villager would have a motive to kill me. The people who live in this village are all fond of you. Thanks to you. I'm just showing you my appreciation. Anyway, we know that the Sonozaki family is not the culprit. I have no idea who else would want to kill me. You know, this village is supposed to be the safest place in the world for you. You're right. It's supposed to be. There's plenty of people who'd protect me here. It's ironic. For a long time, I've been refusing help from all these people who are trying to keep me safe. I got a question for you, Rika. Have you ever tried seeking shelter with literally anybody? I'm just curious, because we haven't seen her take any action to avoid her supposed inevitable death. Even a simple thing like saying, I think someone's after me, and sticking with the Sonozaki families with a pair of armed guards for, who knows, a week? Or getting an escort? Just for like a few days might keep you alive on the day of your death. I'm curious if she never tried that. Find a route where the Mion's not in huge amounts of trouble and just pursue that route to try and see if you can find a scenario to stay alive. See, there's one weird thing about all these arcs as they're building into this one, is that we've never seen Rika ever try to do anything about her fate. Now, presumably she's been going through these arcs time and again, trying to solve her issues, but we haven't actually seen her do that, so I'm It's left up to my imagination as to what she's actually tried to keep herself alive. Has she asked for police protection on the day she's going to die? She's like, I'm not comfortable. I think someone's chasing me. Can I stay at the precinct for a day? I'm sure like if Kimayoshi who thinks she's like practically a prophet, believed her, he'd probably be like, I'm okay with this. Stay there for a day or two, see what happens. See if she survives, in one line, the gas explosion or whatever. Just to see if she can get past it, but maybe she's only able to rewind time on death, so she's letting herself die when she's not solved her problems. It's not quite clear, but I would have thought the first goal would be to, if you're like stuck in a loop or time traveling, is to figure out if there's a way to avoid your own death within a certain time frame. Maybe she's not trying that hard because she's never in a scenario she wants to succeed in, so this might be her first try, but it seems to have been implied that she's actually tried to escape death before. Just not clear what she's done. Right. Now that you have everyone on your side, surely you can overcome your own problem, right? Rika? I think we should rely on Iri. People in this village love and cherish me. No matter what, they never save me when I... No matter what, they never save me when I try to escape the fate of my death. I spoke to several villagers in the past, but they never believed me, and none of them saved me in the end. Okay, so it appears that she's spoken to several people. Yeah, my voice is a little bit off. I can feel that it's off. Hopefully it doesn't sound that bad. So no one believes her, no one helps her. I guess she's tried. Like I said, we haven't seen her try, but presumably she has. They probably didn't believe me because I had no idea who was trying to kill me or what their motive was. If I could explain that, people might be more accepting of my story. Again, that's why I said police asylum might be useful for a day or two. Or even just saying, Mion is literally like a Yakuza boss. Surely she can say, position 2 people as guards for Rika for a week. And be like, it doesn't matter what happens, just don't let her die. Don't accept any distractions, and just stalk her for 2 days. There's nothing I can do about that. No one who would believe a little girl saying she's going to be killed without rhyme or reason. All they think of me is, as is the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama and the leader of the Furude family. They do cherish me, but they won't protect me with their lives. On the other hand, Iri and his people are totally different. They realize how special I am, and they would try to make sure nothing happens to me. If I confess to them my life's in danger, I'm sure they'd do their best to prevent it. They'll have the means to protect me from a violent end. Really, how does he have a means? Does he even have a knife? However, none of it really worked in the past. It's not like they're unreliable, it's because Takano, the one responsible for protecting me, also gets killed on the same day every time. In other words, asking her for help is useless. She's reliable, but, well, really she isn't. It's ironic I'm the only one who knows the reason why they can never save me. I wonder if that's the murderer's plan. Tomitake and Takano get killed because they're my guardians. Then I get killed after that. I think Takano's death is related to your own. If it's the same fate, I mean, if the same suspect kills them for the same motive, I might be able to alter my own outcome by preventing their deaths. I don't know if you remember, we've tried that before. The deaths of Takano and Tomitake mean the loss of my protection. Because the two of them die, the suspect is able to kill me. That's why I've tried to prevent their deaths somehow, but they never believed me. I tried so hard to persuade them, but they didn't listen. I eventually gave up and just thought of their deaths as, well, fated to happen. And now it's time to carve our own destiny. It's the same hopeless feeling I used to have towards my parents when I was able to go further back in time. When I found out that death was inevitable, I lost interest in them. After all the time had passed, I forgot how hard I used to try to prevent my parents' deaths. Besides, I thought you hated Iri and his people. Yeah, they look at us like nothing like they're guinea pigs. I support them so I can help Satoko. It disgusts me to think they're only using me as a test subject. I've been resenting Iri for that reason. Still, I should try to get closer to him. After all, he's the only person who understands how important I am. He's the main person I should be talking to, and he has the most potential for protecting me. I can't avoid seeking help from him just because I don't like him. Unfortunately, he commits suicide most routes, so that's not going to end well. I've asked him for help several times before, but Tomitake and Takano get murdered even so, and it ruins everything. After their deaths, Eerie panics and becomes useless. That's why I gave up on seeking help from him. But in this world, I've been blessed with a positive situation. I'll never have as lucky a start as this again. This is the best chance I'll ever get, so I should give it my best shot. I wonder what would happen if you told Oyashiro that you thought Takano was gonna get killed. Or not Oyashi. You thought Takano was gonna get murdered because you saw someone following her. Or you thought Tomitake was going to be murdered because you saw someone following him as he left the... You should say, I saw someone following Tomitake around, and as he left the festival, and you could maybe get the cops to chase them. Like honestly, if you're like looping in time, let's be honest, making a mistake and like lying to the police about seeing someone is probably not the worst crime in the world, right? You're like, I saw someone I don't recognize stalking Tomitake or something like that, right? I feel like maybe lying to the police to save Tomitake's life would be okay, because then he'd see someone pursuing them. You know, that person that killed him would get arrested, and you'd maybe have more information. Or at least you'd save Tomitake's life by simply sending the cops after him on his way home. Just be like, hey, can you spare an escort for Tomitake? He's gonna be walking home shortly, and I'm a little bit concerned about him. You know, something like that, anything like that would probably be smart. You're like, I saw someone following him around the festival. He's leaving now. Can you, like, send someone to escort him? Or at least walk behind him a short distance. Something like that might save his life. Since you know the future, that might work. A small lie to save several people could be worth it. I don't like him at all. But he's not a bad person. I should respect him more. He's serious about helping Satoko, and he's not as much of a mad scientist as I'm inclined to think. Takano is a strange person, but she's also someone who can give me support. She thinks I'm only her guinea pig. That's why I don't really want her help. You can't join this conversation. You're a civil servant, thus you're obligated to report crimes. Thus also not allowed to lie to the police. It's not a lot. Well... Is it really a lie if you're 100%... Okay, if you are not just a little bit certain, 150% certain that someone's going to attack him on the road and is following him, just you don't know where they are, like you didn't actually see them, you can say, like, I think someone... You could probably phrase it in a way that's not strictly a lie. Because you know for absolute certainty that someone's going to murder him on the road at some point. Right? Like, you know for absolute certain that someone has to be following him and somehow know exactly when he's gonna pass by somewhere. Like, that person's either lying in ambush or following him. And he's not dead that far out of town. So if you figure out the right timing, like, say, the timing it takes, having the information will be sussy on its own. You gotta remember, this isn't like some 30-year-old. You're literally like a 12-year-old girl. Like, the officer is more likely to just not believe you than anything. Like, I think you could try something. Besides, it would probably be worth it if you saved his life anyway. Since you're also absolutely certain they're going to be murdered. If nothing else, you need to find a way to have the police find the body as fast as humanly possible. Say, if he is getting injected with something, or like something's happening to him, you need to find a way to get help to him as fast as humanly possible, right? Not just in the first few minutes. Ideally, you want the cops to stumble on his body as he's dying, or like less than a minute after he dies, rather than, say, several hours later. Because the more information the police have, the more you can indirectly, squeeze from them via your information networks, thanks to the fact that you're a member of the three families, and they have their hooks in the cops. Like, if you're looping all the time, you should be trying to use the police investigation to further your own investigation into the murder. since obviously you know more than the police. Or at least you'll know what they know at some point, because I'm sure at some point she's just said fuck it and like tried to get information from people, or at least figured out a way to trick them into, or talk them into giving her the information. Tomitake is more reliable than Takano, but the biggest problem is he only visits the village a few times a year. And on top of that, he always dies before I get killed, so he can never help me. Why don't you try to avoid their death? Well, I'm sure she's tried. However, they really are the people I should be talking to. If I can change the fate of their deaths, they should be able to save me from my own. It's possible the only reason I lived was because of their effort. I'm gonna approach them once more and do what I can to try and save them. Don't worry. I expect they'll be murdered anyways. I'm not getting my hopes up. I'll be fine, even if this hope is betrayed. You're such a cruel girl. I chuckled at her comment. If they can escape their fated deaths, I'm sure they'll greatly influence my own destiny as well. And this time, I'm going to try talking to them with the assumption they'll still be killed. In short, I'll talk to them about how I'll be protected from my coming danger after they die. If they issue such orders, maybe the guard around me will be strengthened after they do. Seems like a good plan. The protection they provide is probably the highest standard of security I could hope for, yet I lose it the moment Tomitake and Takano die. So I never have their protection after Watanagashi. Therefore I get killed too. In other words, that's it. I don't know how Takano and Tomitake are protecting her. Shouldn't she be going to Mion and being like, I'm in fucking trouble, dude? Whoever possesses the strong will to kill me actually just wants me dead. Yet so long as those two are alive, there's tight security all around Hinamizawa. That prevents the killer from getting to me. So, to kill me, they kill Tomitake and Takano, the heart of that security. Then my protection falls away, leaving me exposed. I don't understand how she thinks Tomitake and Takano protect her. The more I reason it out, the more I realize their fates are connected to mine. Thinking from that point of view, my destiny becomes inescapable the moment I abandon them to die. You should know what you have to do first, then. Yes, I have to think about saving their lives before thinking about mine. It's kind of ironic. I gave up on them because I was more determined to save my own life, but I finally came to the conclusion I must help them first before helping myself. But there's something I still don't understand. Someone with convictions this strong trying to kill me for some equally strong motive. Yet, no matter how often I debate it, I can't think of anyone who'd benefit from my death. Not only that, there should only be people who'd want to protect me, especially since they would do anything to protect me and the present environment. They even eliminated my mother. To be perfectly honest, I don't even care about her anymore. I never got along with her, and she's the one who took my father's death the wrong way, making a huge deal out of it like she did. She got what she deserved. I'm a valuable guinea pig for them. I can be a bomb, too. No one benefits from making me explode. There's only disaster awaiting them if that happens. Lots of people will be lost, and no one would gain anything from that. Except for land developers. Land developers always benefit. According to Takano, my death would be like the eruption of a volcano in the middle of the village. I'm not interested in what happens after my death, but they're really concerned about it. They're watching me every day to ensure I don't accidentally hit my head on a corner of a block of tofu and die. What's with them thinking people are going to die from falling on a block of tofu? You love this scenery, but where are the cat girls? We have an Oni. We have a ghost Oni. Come on. It's fair to say they're here in order to prevent the eruption from happening. I'd be suspicious of them if they were going to benefit in some way from my death, but as everyone knows, that can't be the case. My death would create nothing but a disaster. They're benefiting from my being alive right now. Perhaps it's not about gain, but about a grudge. Maybe someone has a strong grudge against my family and kills me, not knowing I'm like a bomb to this village? That's why I was suspicious of the three families, especially the Sonozakis. However, after observing them in numerous worlds, I feel that's not the case. I felt that way in several lives, but it always had something to do with that incident with Keishi and the doll. It's clear there's nothing going on between the Sonozakis and mine. In that case, it must be some religious fanatic. It's not about profit or a grudge. It might be someone who's a deranged cultist. Come on, we got the cute Oni girl. Don't give up now. We've already had a series of murders 4 years in a row under the name of Oyashiro-sama's curse. Timing-wise, it would be somewhat interesting if I, the reincarnation, were killed on the 5th year. I couldn't stand to be murdered for such whimsical reasons, but such a motive might actually be fitting. Ironically, I'd have to suspect Takano if that's the case. She is well known for being an eccentric researcher of local histories. She's only interested in the village's history because she knows who I am. She's doing the research based on the notion I'm important. So she should have no reason to kill me. She would desire to keep me close to her as a research sample, right? It's hard to believe she'd kill her favorite toy. I mean, crazy people do crazy things. She might be willing to kill someone who would try to harm her toy, though. I'll never find out no matter how hard I think. I know someone's definitely gonna kill me. I mean, you just need to... If you're gonna think, you need to think of a way to acquire the information if you can't derive it from your existing wealth of, wealth of knowledge. I don't care about anything else as long as I can escape that fate. No, I take that back. I want to escape my deadly fate, but I also want all my friends happy. I want the rest of my life to be happy too. I don't want to hide myself in the forest forever just to get away from my murderer. In fact, I've tried that once before, but I still met the same ending. Living in the forest was a horrible experience. I think I was able to survive until July that time? Might be the longest I ever lived. I smiled bitterly and finished off the rest of the orange wine in the glass. Okay, so she has managed to avoid her fate at least once, living almost an entire month extra. But still got murdered, so maybe going to the police for the one night she thinks she's going to be attacked is not an effective strategy, because she'd effectively need bodyguards for the rest of her life. Interesting. I'd have to talk to Erie again. I don't like him, but his people are my only hope. So now we know why she thinks it's not useful, because she can still be attacked anytime after that. Getting late. I should go to sleep now. I think so too. Good night. Good night, Hanyu. It's the cute Shrine Maiden Ghost Oni. I lay down and closed my eyes, but I couldn't fall asleep right away. And suddenly I remembered Reina's words out of nowhere. It was no good when I was thinking about it on my own. I wasn't thinking about it on my own. I was talking it out with Hanyu. Oh, now I know. It's important to talk to other people. Friends have greater meaning than I thought. You can talk to them about anything. I finally realized that. After I asked Takano for help, should I also talk to Keiichi? Probably. He seems to believe that in your future sight, or at least the probability of you knowing in a general sense what's going on. I've told him before in my previous lives, but he never believed me then, but he will believe you now. He's seen the past, and he believes you can sort of see the future, or at least what's likely to happen. I think that's gonna work. I think it's gonna work, right? Now that she's made some progress in other areas, it's like she's unlocked a new chapter in Hollow Ataraxia. She's like, ooh, I've progressed in several areas. Can I try this now? Will someone believe me now, perhaps? Rika Furude always thought there were 4 members in her family. She could clearly see all of us, her father, her mother, and me. She had no idea I was invisible to anyone else but her. My appearance is a little different from human beings. I may otherwise look like a person, but I can't hide my horns, so it's obvious I'm not human. I'd hoped that because Rika has seen me since she was a baby, she wouldn't be bothered by my ugly horns at all. And that hope came true. Just as chicks believe whatever they see first is their parent, Rika accepted me as part of her family as a matter of course. Even though I have these horns, Rika and I have been close ever since the day she accepted me as her family member. I became closer to her than her parents. I couldn't even remember the last time I was able to communicate with someone. We spent all day together. But her family, especially her mother, denied my existence. Since her mother so strongly denied me, Rika and her mother became distant. I mean, let's do an easy proof, okay? Okay? Listen. Here's an easy way to prove that your ghost girl is real, okay? Here's a deck of cards. Shuffle it. Draw any card you like. I'm not gonna look, and I'll tell you the card, because Hanyu's gonna tell me. That's all you need to do. Just like, hand someone a deck of cards and be like, do this. Or, here, have a die and just roll 6 dice. Like, pick your favorite dice for your favorite board game. Roll it 20 times. Draw 20 cards. Draw a deck of magic cards. And literally just, I'm just gonna read your opening hand to you, no matter what you draw. Like, here you go. Or, it's like, whatever you draw, just pick it. Or write something down on a piece of paper. And I'll do it anywhere. Like, all you have to do is some bullshit trick like that, and it'll prove Hanyu's existence, and, you know, your mother will presumably shut the fuck up, because you're like, whoa, you literally have a spirit following you around who tells you whatever you want to know. It acts like another person. right? Like, it should be easy in theory. You're like, I'm gonna go stand in another room. Now it's like, okay, I'm gonna stand with Dad in another room, and you're gonna be inside. You're gonna write down 5 words of your choice. You're gonna write down 5 words of your choice. Anya's gonna read them to me, and then I'm gonna tell you what they are to prove that my ghost exists. It's so easy to prove that your ghost exists. It's like literally the easiest thing on the planet. Rika didn't learn certain things many children learn from their mothers. That's why I taught her instead. It's kind of ironic that how that made her mother resent Rika even more. Rika used to fight with her mother a lot about how she talked. I guess she picked up some bad habits from me. Besides the fact she didn't get along with her mother, Rika was a pretty normal girl. She was just like Satoko. She loved running in the woods. She liked doing mischievous things. However, in June 1983, Rika's life was taken. All we want is a happy life for Rika. My power only allows us to search for the path leading to that. It's awful to repeat the same tragedy over and over again. Although it's devastating, we can still find happiness within this endless world. Rika's destiny is a tragic dead end, but I'm secretly enjoying the fact I get to spend more time with her than what normal people can enjoy. And it's not just Rika. They may not see or hear me, but being with Satoko, Mion, Reina, and Keiichi is also very fun. I can never be one of them, but I can still be by their side. It's sad, but it's true. If someone's going to die, maybe you do want to spend an extra few dozen years with them, even if you're trapped in a bubble of endlessly looping time. It might be a better alternative depending on your perspective. And what your real reason for being around them is. Obviously, there are some limitations, but it could be better than nothing. It's better than the endless void if you know you're going to die, I suppose. At least for some time. Hello, I'm surprised to see you here on a day other than Sunday. I have something I want to ask Takano. Is she here today? No, she must be on a date with Risa-san. I wish I had a date too. Risa? Oh, it's Risa. I don't know Risa. I know Rina, right? Why do you call him Risa? I don't understand. Well, you should ask him yourself. It was a small mistake I made when we first met. It's funny how he reacted. I don't get it. That's what nicknames are all about, though. What did you want to talk to her about? I'll see her at the meeting tonight. I'll take a message if you want. Thanks so much, but I'd rather talk to her directly. I see. Well, alright. I should get back to my work then. Are you not seeing any patients today? I've been busy with paperwork for the meeting tonight. I've been preparing it for a while, but I didn't have enough time. I'll get in trouble if it's not finished in time. Aren't you busy coaching the baseball team too? You have so much energy. Well, I'm a busy guy. What can I say? I've been looking for a cute maid who'd take care of the chores and help me with other work, but I've had no such luck. He laughed and looked at his watch. Hold up, hold the phone. Look at this man's wrists. There is no watch. Any versions have a watch? That one you can't tell if he has a watch. This one there's no watch, but he distinctly looks at a watch. Have any idea where Takano is right now? They're probably going to different places in the village. I know they always meet at the shrine. She left not too long ago, so she might still be somewhere near there. I looked at the clock on the wall. I must have just missed her. There was no time to be chatting with Eri. Thank you very much. I'll try the shrine. You shouldn't bother those lovers. They only see each other 4 times a year. He smiled mischievously and waved his hand in goodbye. So it's Tomitake and Takano, I guess. I headed back to the shrine. I was going to park my bike by the stairs that led to the shrine grounds. Satoko and I are the only ones who park our bikes there normally, but I saw more than 10 bikes there today. People must be gathering at the convention room. There's more and more meetings when the festival draws closer. Seeing all the bikes reminded me that summer is nearly here. Most of the bikes were old and beat up. However, I saw 2 unfamiliar ones parked there. Sporty mountain bikes with the same design but different colors. They must belong to Takano and Tomitake. Okay, so they parked near there. I went up the stairs to look for the 2 of them but couldn't find either. Was there any place with a great view for taking pictures? I tried looking in places like that, but I still couldn't find them. So I started looking based on what Takano might be interested in. I could only think of one place. The locked shrine? How is it, Jiro-san? It's a pretty simple lock. All I need is the right tool. I should be able to open it in a minute. Oh, you could do that? You open the lock to my heart, but that's not the only thing you're good at, huh? I'm gonna curse you. The two of them jumped in surprise as I suddenly appeared in front of them. Hello, Rika-chan. It wasn't nice of you to scare us like that. It's not nice to try and open the ritual storehouse lock either. She's right, Takano-san. We can't do something like that. Tomitake conceded right away, but Takano was stubborn. She made up excuses to try and fool me. Based on my previous lives, I knew just how much interest she had in this storehouse. It was actually rather impressive how she tried to cover that up. The ritual storehouse is full of the remainder of the dark history of Onigafuchi. It contains bloody and vicious tools Takano is fascinated with. She should have a good idea as to what those things are inside the storehouse based on what she's been researching. She is making up some story about cultural treasures and such, but it's obvious she's just making excuses. Your BS as usual. Tomitake also seemed impressed listening to Takano's phony justifications. In the past, I've tried to conceal what was inside the storehouse from Takano, because I don't want her spreading information about the holy and brutal traditions they used to have in the village. It'd be a disgrace. As a member of the Furude, I can't let that happen. But looking at the history of Onigafuchi and the way Takano does is a painful thing for Hanyu as well. For Hanyu, the storehouse is a special place. I don't know what's so nice about being surrounded by those scary tools, but she feels cozy when she's surrounded by the smell of the old times. The storage is like Hanyu's hideout. When I can't see her, she's usually relaxing in there. I don't want Hanyu's happy place to be turned into the bloody, horrifying den of evil Takano believes it to be. Hanyu's happy place, the torture chamber. Awesome. Well, she is an Oni. That's why I've been keeping Takano away from the storehouse. Come to think of it, why am I so mean to her? Is it because I hate her? I should stop feeling that way. I have to keep in close contact with Takano and Tomitake. I won't give up just because it didn't work before. I'm going to try one more time. This world is different from the other ones. Okay, let's save them. I might be able to change their fate, which in turn might change my own. Hanyu, I'm thinking about showing the storehouse to Takano. Hanyu made an irritated face. Takano will lose herself in ecstasy if she sees what's inside of there. She'll run around spreading rumors of the bloody history of Onigafuchi. Hanyu wasn't too excited about that prospect. I'm not trying to curry favor with Takano. I think it might give me a chance to talk to her. Takano holds on to crutches, so if I'm mean to her now, she might not listen to me later. Poor Hanyu. I wish we could give head pats to Hanyu. She seems like exactly like the kind of person who deserves head pats. Or would like them at least, right? I understand Hanyu doesn't want her inside this holy place, but she can't do anything more than be irritated about it. I'm the only one who can make the ultimate decision. Besides, she'll forgive me if I promise to eat something sweet later. Takano, if you keep it a secret, I'll let you in. Really? Inside the storehouse? You don't mean inside an emergency shelter, right? Oh, I mean it. I'll let you into the storehouse. This is new. This is new. You mean this storehouse? Inside this building? I'm not trying to trick you or anything. I'll let you inside. Ipa. Oh, I'd never seen just a big smile on her face before. Now this is a miracle. I'm seeing this face for the first time in 100 years. Tomitake must be feeling the same way. His image of Takano slowly falling apart as we spoke, I'm sure. Or maybe he just found a new side of her to love instead? I'm surprised Takano is such a funny person. Communication's important. It's sometimes hard to tell what people are all about. We remained there and watched Takano spinning in delight for a while. Wait, what? She's just like... She's just spinning in excitement. It's like Takano starts spinning wildly. This is a secret. No one can see us going inside. You're right. I'll try and calm her down. I'll go get the keys now. By the time I came back with the key, Takano was totally calm again. She was obviously trying to hide how gleeful she was, though. I thought she was a mature lady, but she might still be a kid at heart. I think they called that something like Gap Moe. Not quite. I picked up the term at some point from Keiichi, but I'm not sure how it's used. I don't think she's a Moe blob. I disagree. Well then, Takano and Tomitake. Before we go inside, you must promise me something. Otherwise you can't go in. Of course, of course. You're willing to break the rules to open the storehouse for us. We'll keep our promises. Takano, you have to take this seriously. I am taking it seriously. My image of Takano is falling to pieces right now. Same here. Her market's crashing all over the world. Reina said it before. It's not a good idea to think about problems all on your own, and I always hated the crazy part of Takano. I didn't want to be close to her, but I never thought she could act this way. She's acting almost like Reina does when she's in her cute mode. It's adult Reina, oh my god. Had I known that she was as funny a person like this, I wouldn't have felt resentment toward her. I realize how important communicating can be, but yeah, this is expressing. First of all, I have to promise you don't tell anyone that you went inside the storehouse. Don't tell anyone. Of course I won't, I promise. Takano put her hands to her chest. She also forced Tomitaki to do the same. It was funny to watch him trying to keep up with Takano, too. Okay, don't damage anything inside the storehouse. Of course not, of course not. Is it okay if I take pictures? Me? You can, but I'll charge 100 yen per picture. That's it? What? What? Wait, how much money do you have on you right now, Jiro-san? If you pay me 10,000 yen, you can take all the photos you want. That's a good deal. I'll take it. I'll take it, Jiro-san. That's it? They paid me the money for real. It's only 100 bucks. It's not that much. Anya seemed excited knowing the money could be used for buying desserts. Takana's such a nice person. You're so greedy. I finally got approval from Oyashiro-sama, the master of the storehouse. We'd have no more problems now. The ritual storehouse is behind the building with the convention room. Sometimes people come out for a cigarette break. I can't let anyone see us entering. You're good. No one's around. Tomitake checked out the scene and gave me the signal to go ahead. I nodded, unlocking the door. I pushed open the heavy door just far enough for us to sneak inside. So we got approval from Oyashiro-sama, or at least some demon ghost who's usually hangs out there. That's good. Maybe this time no one gets cursed. It looks suspicious if you went outside like that. What? Oh, I can come inside too? He seemed surprised I was asking him to come inside with us. Tomitake, of course, wasn't particularly interested in what was inside the storehouse. I expected his surprised reaction. Jiro-san, Rika's telling you to come inside. Come on now. Alright. Tomitake squeezed inside as Takano urged him. So how well illuminated is this place during the dark? I turned the light on and closed the door, and then I put the chain on from inside. You're locking us in? Just so a bad kitty cat won't sneak inside, you know. Are you talking about me? Takano, a cat's supposed to go all meow meow. Meepa. What do you mean? If you don't act like a cat, I'm not gonna let you see what's in here. I brought cat ears with a collar and bell for you too. If you don't put them on, get on all fours and meow, and I won't open the next door. The shrine storehouse has 2 doors, so people can't see inside when the first door is opened. At that moment, we were inside the entry chamber. The real storehouse is in the room beyond. What? That's a bad joke, Rika. This is where she pulls out the cat ears and bell, and it's like, you wouldn't really... Huh? Wait, what the hell? I'll do it if I have to. You're testing me to see how devoted I am to my research, aren't you, Rika-chan? Fine, if that's what you want. I'll wear the cat ears, bloomers, and a tail. I'll crawl on all fours before an empty milk bowl. I beg, please let me drink your milk, master. She definitely would have joined the club if she was around our age. I agree. Hey, remember how they said that shredded socks fell like snow on Wall Street during the Great Crash? Oh, shredded stocks fell like snow on Wall Street during the Great Crash. Takano's Valley right now reminds me of that. Bring it on, Rika. Are you sure I only have to wear the ears and collar? Takano, the door isn't even locked. See? Push it and it opens. Really? How shameful of me. Didn't even look at the door. Oh my goodness. Tomitake has no sense of humor. He just turned off a lot of viewers who were looking forward to seeing Takano in the cat outfit. Well, did he? I guess you'll have to let me know. Were you looking forward to seeing Takano in the cat outfit? Anyway, he's right. You just have to push it. Meepa. Nice. Once we went through the door, we found ourselves inside the storage area. There were no windows in there, so it was completely dark even during the day. There were several light bulbs hanging from the ceiling, but they were dim and their light only exaggerated the darkness inside. Oyashiro-sama's statue and the altar dominated the center of the room. They were surrounded by tons of ancient torture implements. They were all over the floor, walls, and ceiling. It looked like a torture room rather than just storage for tools intended for one. It's amazing. Tomitake was rendered speechless. They were nothing like those fake torture implements they might have seen in a wax museum or somewhere like that. The tools in this room are genuine articles. I never like to think about it, but I'm sure some of them were really used. These authentic tools always have a big impact on the people who see them, but Tomitake was the only one who was shocked since he was the only normal person in the room. And she's just like, click, 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 click. Oh my god! Takano's eyes were sparkling. She was taking pictures while meowing like a cat. This place isn't special to me, of course. I know I'm supposed to treat it as a holy place, but I'm so used to seeing all these things after coming here countless times since I was little. To me, it's nothing but a storehouse with a lot of old stuff inside. As for Hanyu, she says the only place that the air from times past lingers in the present day. She actually finds it quite comforting. I get in a good mood when I come here because Hanyu gets in a good mood. It's like a relaxing place for her, and as I watch Tomitake's reaction, I notice how totally off my values are from normal people's. His reaction seems more natural to me in a sense. Hanyu seemed bothered by his reaction too. Maybe it's a bad idea to let him come inside after all. Not like I could kick him out though. Hanyu and I sat on a cushion in front of the altar and watched Takano dance with childish glee while Takano made touching efforts to keep up. He's like, slow down, dear. I wonder why they made so many torture implements. The whole purpose of torture is to make people confess, right? Why is it necessary to have so many? Jiro, you know there are 2 ways to threaten people with torture implements. The first is to inflict pain on the victim. The other is to threaten them by showing him the tools. In that sense, having more of them can give tremendous fear to the victim. I've heard torture requires skill. I suppose it's hard to really hurt people without killing them. Tomitake acted like he's having a conversation with Takano, but his voice was obviously unsteady. Some Western torture implements were so vicious that they really used it on the victim, they would have killed him instantly. To be precise, there's 2 types of implements. First, the simple tools used to make them confess, and the other for entertaining those who are watching the torture. I'm frustrated some people can't tell the difference between the 2. Let me ask you, what were they trying to gain from the victims by using these tools? Tomitake asked me that. He must have thought Takano would say something more scary if he asked her. He's forgetting I am just a little innocent girl. I think they were forcing their victims to obey the rules of Onikafuchi Village. That's what I believe. Am I right? You are. Most of these tools were never built for actual use. They were simply displayed in front of the villagers to intimidate them. That's why there are records saying when they actually tried to use them, some of them were the wrong size or simply malfunctioned. So they really did use some of them then? That's not a pleasant story. Some people were just not obedient, despite the threat of Oyashiro-sama's curse. Hey Rika, are you sure these tools are mainly used to intimidate people in the village? I've heard they were used for cooking and dissecting during the real Watanagashi. Hanyu is making a frustrated face. He didn't want to remember the dark history of Onagafuchi Village. People performed countless torture ceremonies in front of her, claiming they were doing it in her name, in the name of Oyashiro-sama. And Hanyu's like, yeah, I don't like that. So is Hanyu actually Oyashiro? That's interesting if that's the case. If she's actually Oyashiro and she's bothered by it, then you could say, yeah, they did it, but I don't think that's actually how Oyashiro likes it. You could tell things from Hanyu's perspective, right? Right? She asked them not to do that, but no one was able to see or hear her. No comment. He always talks to me about it, too. Long ago, the villagers of Onagafuchi would receive a divine message. Go to the foot of the mountain, kidnap people, and eat them, right? I wonder why they did that. Was it a display of force or something? I believe it was a type of ceremony to make them believe they were higher on the food chain. The greatest outspoken reasons Onagafuchi forbade intermingling was that the village was a holy land. They were transcendents. They were greater beings than humans. Mingling with tainted humans will bring corruption. That's what they were taught. They probably needed to reaffirm their idea they were above humans at regular intervals. In Japan, there was a tradition of displaying severed heads on pikes. While such a warning is inhumane, it's an extremely good deterrent. The victim was tortured in public and eaten alive? What would you think if you saw something like that? Anyone would think they wouldn't want to be in that situation. There's also a history of crucifixion in this country. They hung the victim and stabbed them with spears in front of an audience. You probably know this already, Jiro, but people don't really die from being stabbed once or twice. They might have a chance to die if they're stabbed in the stomach or chest, but it's not instant like a guillotine. They bleed from their wounds, their guts are pulled out, and they eventually die by drowning in their own blood. In that sense, the guillotine is such a merciful tool. Did you know? The guillotine was invented for the nobility. It was invented because they were able to die instantly. Which isn't the case with shooting or hanging. The nobles get special treatment all the way up till death. That's actually true. The guillotine was used as an execution device because it was believed to be merciful, as it granted not near instant death, although, to be fair, a dull blade or an insufficiently heavy blade on a guillotine doesn't always sever your head. That's what the headman is for. Gotta chop it. Gotta finish the chopping if the guillotine doesn't succeed. Hydrate times 2. Oh my goodness. I gotta drink up. Delicious. I'm actually drinking Gatorade tonight, but it looks like I'm out. Good stuff. You live for like 30 seconds after your head's cut off. Yeah, after some testing we found out that people may be conscious after they're decapitated for a short period of time, which is fair. But I don't think medieval science was quite up to the task, at least at the start, and let's be real, most people didn't have a doctorate, a college degree, or even high school education during the time period this thing was invented. So, something that leads to near instant death is better than, getting stabbed and bleeding out slowly, or being hacked to pieces repeatedly. If a couple people take their swords to you, you're probably gonna take a while, right? It's also a little bit easier to distance yourself from a guillotine. Same with hanging by the neck, because strangulation hurts, and it also hurts having your neck snapped. Also, strangulation. Also, hanging by the neck is slightly unreliable. They screwed that up all the time too, right? Still, I guess it's sort of progress. They're like, well, we're still killing you, but we'll try to make it less pleasant, less unpleasant, and less terrifying. And also gives a lot of people less trauma when they're killing you, right? That's why, like, when they load weapons for firing squads, they sometimes load blanks into everyone's magazines. They sometimes load blanks into people's magazines so they can think that maybe their gun didn't kill them. Right? That's also why there's more than one person in a firing squad, because people have a really hard time shooting other people. And they don't want to be... A lot of people don't actually want to shoot them, so they have a bunch of people so you can kind of say, oh, it wasn't my bullets that killed them, and in your head you can justify it as being like someone else's bullets that killed them. Right? Lots of problems with executing people that are made slightly easier by the guillotine, or by fully automated weapons. Single-shot rifles don't work as well, because now you only got one bullet, so you know if you have a blank or not. And with bladed weapons, you obviously know who's doing the killing. At least, yeah, a short death might be better. You don't want to chance someone like dying over the course of like an hour or something. That would just be awkward, right? Ideally, for your execution method, you want it to be efficient and clean, and the guillotine sort of meets those criteria. Is it the best thing in existence? Probably not. But it's what it is. There's an old black and white movie I know of. It's a love story set during the French Revolution. The final guillotine scene's the best part. The nobles are lined up and bound in chains. They get publicly executed on the guillotine one by one. Snap. Next. Snap. Next. Snap. Human lives are taken like they're on a conveyor belt. There's no last words or prayer or anything. Snap. Next. Snap. It's not even that entertaining, because it's over in a flash. No one holds any sentiment for their deaths. The audience enjoys how the nobles' heads are sliced like vegetables. It's like a show to them. I think it's more respectful to kill someone slowly and brutally. That way people pay a little bit more attention to them, right? Oyashiro-sama here was the one who made this brutal torture possible. Takano raises her hand to honor the statue. Oyashiro is an idol created by human beings. The idol was worshipped in fear and made divine. People laid the bricks of his church with rules and doctrines, strengthening it with the mortar of curses and malediction. As they stacked and stacked the bricks, its height reached to the heavens, and their god was placed above it all. Gods are born because people desire them, after all. So when people seek to rule others with fear, they become the collection of blood, torture, and pure terror. And they call that god Oyashiro-sama. In other words, it proves the stairs to godhood are built not by the gods, but by human hands, and show the way for us humans to attain further heights and... Her passionate lecture was interrupted by a loud noise. As I looked back, Hani was jumping up and down, with her eyes full of tears. Thud. 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 She was stomping the floor as hard as she could, making a loud noise instead of screaming out with her unheard voice. However, it all amounted to the same thing. Hani, you can't be heard by people. It's not right. It's not right. It's not right. I'm not like that. Anya. Honey, I hate seeing people getting tortured or killed. I want people to be happy together. Of course, not everything's perfect, but I'd harass people to do such horrible things. Anya, there you are. Oyashiro has nothing to do with you. Not right. That's not right. I hate Takano. I hate her. She always says horrible things about me. She's a bully. Was it a bad idea for me to bring Takano in here? I knew Takano would get overstimulated and say something like this. Fortunately, Hanya's rejection indirectly reached Takano, and she stopped lecturing. Somehow, Tomitake heard the noise Hanya made. He pressed his finger in front of his lips and told Takano to be quiet. What is it? Well, I just heard a sound like a child was jumping around. There might be a child somewhere near this building. Really? I didn't hear anything. Hello? How's it going, my dude? I'm sure I heard it. Takano, we're in here in secret. I think you should look around without making any more noise. Takano seemed disappointed, but Tomitake was right. She had no choice but to be quiet. Tomitake? There are no children around this place. Are you sure? You didn't hear it either? I'm sure I heard a noise. I heard it too, but it wasn't coming from outside the building. It was jumping right behind me. I guess you heard it from far away, but it was very loud to me. I was standing in front of the altar, and the statue of Oyashiro was right behind me. Tomitake seemed a little freaked out after hearing what I just told him. Although he was trying to fake a smile, his face was turning pale. However, Takano didn't seem scared at all. Takano, you can't say things that would upset Oyashiro-sama in front of him. He's very angry right now. Can't you hear his voice? It's fortunate she can't, to be honest. Even if she heard it, it would be nothing but tears. My job as a shrine maiden to begin with is to tell humans what Oyashiro-sama is feeling, and I'm responsible for speaking on Hanya's behalf. Takano must have realized I was very serious about what I said. She apologized to me right away. Sorry, I took it too far. I'm sorry, Oyashiro-sama. You're a god as long as people worship you, even though I may not worship you, you're still holy. Sorry for disrespecting you. Oyashiro-sama loves sweet food. You'll get cursed unless you offer something sweet through me. Tomitake couldn't help but smile. And Takano also, imagine being like, well, she's upset now. You'd better offer me the fucking candy. She bowed to me, promising to bring over some cream puffs soon. Takano finally stopped saying bad things about Oyashiro, and she also promised to bring me something sweet. Hanya's still upset, but he's probably satisfied for the moment. Oyashiro, the small Oni ghost. Yeah, the small, cute Oni ghost. We can't forget that adjective. But I didn't know what she meant by the 3 fingers she was showing up to me. Was she telling me to ask Takano for that too? Being her shrine maiden is not an easy thing. Oyashiro saw it. Just saying he wants at least 3 cream puffs. I should make it clear. It's not me asking that. Just imagine this from Takano's perspective. She's like, oh, 1 cream puff? Oh no, oh no. 3. It better be 3. Like, oh, you're offering cream puffs? Well, I want 3 cream puffs for the insult. They took it as a joke I made to reduce the tension. Tomitake and Takano cracked up, holding their stomachs, and Hanya was looking at them in surprise. not knowing why they were laughing. My face, meanwhile, was turning red with embarrassment. Fine. 3 delicious cream puffs for Oyashiro. Should I get some for you and Satoko, too? No, I don't need any. But there is something I want to tell you. What is it? Since you let me inside the store today, I'm willing to do anything for you. I want you to believe what I'm about to tell you, then. And please don't ask why or make fun of me. Please believe me and change fate to save me. Tell her. Both of them are surprised to see such a serious look on my face. I was sure they'd be surprised. After all, I'm about to explain to them they're going to die in 2 days. I'm sure they'd want to deny that. But I knew a fair bit about their deaths. If I could explain it to them in detail, they wouldn't be able to laugh it off. I'd talked to them about it several times in previous lives, but they never took it seriously. I only had that slight possibility they might believe me. Hopefully the possibility is as small as the miracle. It should be engraved on the side of a die. My friends beat their fates. They all rolled a 6. Should I call that a miracle? Well, God, let me roll a 6 again. Let's succeed. Come on. Let them believe that death is upon them. Hopefully we can convince them of their imminent demise, or at least to change what their usual route is. Eri turned the light on as soon as he finished his presentation. Okay, we cut to someone else. There were about 8 men wearing lab coats inside the meeting room. The man sitting at the far end was the only person without one. And upon seeing Eri finish his speech, he clapped his hands several times. We've never seen this scene before. This is curious. Having noticed his applause, the other men in the room soon followed suit. What do you like, Mil? Excellent. Very excellent. This looks like Tomitake. I'm quite satisfied with your progress. Your hard work's paid off, Dr. Eri. No, I would say it's because of my incredible staff. I really do owe them my gratitude. We are getting close to finding a perfect cure. There are a few more sticking points left, but they can all be resolved with time and financing. We're counting on your support on that front. With sufficient funding and labor, I estimate will be done within 3 years. By 1986, we should be able to establish a complete treatment for it. From here on out, our challenges are establishing a treatment package that other unspecialized medical facilities can easily administer and developing an easier, cheaper test for it. With regards to testing, Dr. Eri is currently researching ways to detect potential patients through blood samples. Once that's established, the test can be administered alongside regular physical exams, and we believe will drive costs down significantly. Wonderful to hear. The current tests are pretty involved and expensive after all. Sorry, I'm truly grateful to hear you're considering the costs too. Healthy citizens are supposed to be our nation's assets, so it really is a shameful thing to bring up the budget, but, well, from our position, we'd like to shave every yen we can off the costs. Tomitake works for the government. Interesting. Of course, we understand. If we establish a treatment that's impossible due to cost, it's just a pie in the sky. It's our job to develop a practical treatment, not just a theoretical one. Tomitake started clapping again, and everyone followed him. It is Tomitake! You're truly... I mean, I did say he looked like a military man, but alright, he's a government dude. You're truly a respectable man as well as a talented doctor. I'm honored to have met you. Oh, I can't accept your applause until everyone's been treated, and this so-called curse of Oyashiro-sama has been exterminated. We hope for your continued cooperation until that time. Likewise, I'll do everything I can to make sure you receive almost every yen in the budget you've outlined. Please keep up the good work. Tomitake and Eri shook hands, and the meeting was filled with applause yet again. Looks like things are going well for them. That's it for tonight's meeting. Tomorrow is the main event. We're all waiting for the budget hearing. Let's all push hard. Takano was being sarcastic, of course. The staff members in lab coats were smiling bitterly. Well, I'll give my greatest efforts for the budget you need, too. To be honest, I want to be on your side myself, but I'm the one who has to explain things to the brass, and the one they come down on directly. You have my deepest apologies, but regretfully I'll be rigorously examining the budget. Please continue lending me your cooperation. It's your job. We can't blame you for that. That's fair. We'll see you tomorrow. In any case, that's it for today. Once Eri declared the meeting over, his white-coated staff gathered up their documents and left after glancing at the clock. Well, that seems to have gone well. It was almost midnight. The staff who are off tomorrow night might be alright, but those scheduled to work needed to sleep soon, or it would hinder them the next day. So could things at the budget meeting cause someone to go off and kill people? It's possible, right? It's possible that might be a motive to kill Takano. Or make a frame Dr. Eri as having killed himself. There's possibilities here, right? Now we have budget meetings with government contractors. Possibly someone losing out on money. That could be a motive. You can't pursue your research, but Dr. Erie can. Or maybe Dr. Erie failed to get his research grant approved because Takano gets murdered or it got canceled or something. That might be why he kills himself. We're getting some motivations, right? We're getting possible motivations. We don't know if there's an individual involved here who's directly concerned with things, but it sounds interesting. Alright. So, the staff who were off tomorrow might be alright, but those scheduled to work needed to sleep soon, or it would hinder them the next day. Takano gathered up the butts from the ashtrays, as well as the empty coffee cans. The late night Takano, damn. My, some people didn't drink their coffee. We managed to get a coffee budget for meetings approved, but I wonder if they'll cut that budget if people don't drink it. Don't be so mean. I'm not doing this because I enjoy it, you know? Oh, Takano-san. I'll take that leftover coffee. I'll take one too. That way the budget won't go to waste. The two of them seem more relaxed with the other staff members gone. Tomitake and Iri loosened their collars in a sign of relief. Okay. How are Rika and Satoko? Are they doing fine? I heard last week Satoko's test results weren't that good. No, but it actually wasn't that big a deal. She was a bit out of sorts because of the heat wave. Her new results came out very stable. Dr. Iri is passionate about Satoko. That's not true. As a physician, I treat all my patients equally, to the best of my ability. But if she feels grateful and decides to become my mate, that would be wonderful. Though it's proving quite difficult. It'd be a wonderful way to completely cure Satoko-chan. But I guess that's what's difficult. Once a patient reaches the L5 state like Satoko has, it's easy for them to re-experience hallucinations similar to a patient suffering from flashbacks. These technically aren't caused by the disease, but by normal defense mechanisms cultivated in the brain. Like the idiom, a scalded dog fears cold water suggests, the brain naturally uses past experiences proactively for our survival. I have no clue why they used the metaphor earlier that they're protecting her from dying by falling and hitting her head on a block of tofu. I don't know. I thought tofu was soft. That'd be like falling on a pillow, one that crumbles with little effort. In simpler terms, emotional trauma. Worse yet, we suspect she may have suffered damage directly to her frontal lobe. She needs more delicate counseling and long-term medication than our usual trauma patient. That's fair. Satoko has emotional trauma from her time with her aunt and uncle. That seems fair. They're particularly awful people, and her brother is dead/missing, so I can see why she's had a bit of a bad time. Also, direct damage to her frontal lobes. That's not great. You may be able to treat her illness, but you can't treat her mental health. That's what you're saying? There's plenty of people functioning in society with emotional trauma. Even if she's one more to the mix, that's still a miraculous recovery considering the state she used to be in. Think about diabetic patients. There's no cure, but many of them live happily by managing their condition. She still needs 3 shots a day? No, she's recovered a bit. She's down to twice now. I think that puts less strain on her, too. She was so afraid in the beginning. But Rika talked her into it. Into getting the shots, you mean? Satoko was told she's receiving financial support from us by supporting her research. Or our research. She thinks she's getting 2 shots a day, not because she's sick, but as a test subject for your research? Jiro, it would be a horrible thing for us to explain to her what kind of illness she's suffering from. Did I tell you this before? Well, I remember. Sorry for being so insensitive. If you happen to see Satoko-chan somewhere, please be kind to her. Alright, I will. Rika's such a strong girl. Her background's similar to Satoko's, yet she's leading such a steady life. We have Rika and her deceased parents to thank for all this. Without their understanding and support, we'd never have discovered even a hint at the cure so soon. She even endured our inhumane experiments very well. We wouldn't have the results we do today without her support after overcoming her parents' deaths. I'd like to repay the debt we owe her somehow. I agree. Tokyo also recognized that Rika and Satoko have rendered us a distinguished service. They'll be compensated for their work someday. Oh, the mysterious someday, when that appears in the budget. I'm sure they'll get money. It's like Sunday, but the day where everyone has infinite money. You guys don't even want to pay for our coffee filters. Again, don't be me. Keep bringing that story up. Even though all we can do is compensate them with money, I wish there was a way to pay them back from our hearts. Takano muttered like she's talking to herself, but it almost sounded like she was talking to them. I'm sure there are many ways for us to show our appreciation. There are many ways we can pay them back. Dr. Erie, Coach, I guess you're doing that for them all the time. I suppose I should be nice to those girls, too. Indeed. Plus, Rika was very nice to you today. I nearly forgot. I have to take that film to get developed first thing in the morning. It was such a wonderful experience. History, culture, the smell of it. Everything about it was wonderful. Erie wondered what she could have experienced during the day. Tomitake could only smile and act like he didn't know anything. By the way, Takano, what do you think of what Rika told us near the end? What are your thoughts? I want to believe it's only paranoia. She did say there's no absolute proof either. What's going on? From what you just said, it sounds like Rika's showing... Wait, showing what? Bad symptoms? Test results from last week. I thought they came out pretty good, but did you see anything different, dear Dr. Erie? No, they were as stable as always. Isatoko's results are a wave during high tide. Rika's are the quiet surface of a lake. Just like their personalities. What's the possibility of a sudden outbreak? What are you talking about? Don't tell me Rika's showing symptoms of the disease progressing. Rika asked us for something today. She wanted our protection because she feels like someone's going to murder her. No way. Who'd try to kill her? Impossible. Rika's a beloved mascot in the village. I don't think she has any enemies. I think it's just her imagination, too. Why does she think someone's trying to kill her? Good question. If she's experiencing paranoia, she might be in the early L5 stage. She said she saw it in her dreams. She wants us to reinforce security around her because she feels threatened. For a young girl like that, it's not uncommon to get scared after having a nightmare, but we need to determine if it's really a dream or if she's showing early symptoms of the disease. Okay. Give her an urgent checkup tomorrow. I really hope nothing's wrong. She's the most valuable person in the village. So the government thinks she's valuable too. It's not just the random ass people. Interesting. Very interesting. Hope she's okay, but what do we do if she is? Shiro. If that's what she wants in return for what she showed us today, it's not even a big deal. If she's worried about her safety and wants to rely on us, I think we should support her. That's what paying her back with our hearts is all about. You're right. Even if she's just dreaming, we'll lose her trust if we don't support her. It's our chance. We found a way to show her our appreciation. I agree. Besides, she has a right to seek that support from us. Yes, we have to make sure to protect her at all times. It's true. So that's your job, not mine. So please give her your best. Understood. Takano, please do what you can to keep her safe. It's probably not so serious. We need to bring in bloodhounds from Tokyo. True, you can't ask them to come over because Rika Furuta had a nightmare. Alright. I'll order at least 4 members of the Mountain Dogs to watch her 24 hours a day. That's impressive. That's tighter security than when I went to Tokyo. She deserves special treatment. I'll make sure she gets the best security in the country. No one would dare plot an assassination on her. I'll get the best bodyguards out there. Not even a super spy could lay a finger on her. Yeah. Onigafuchi Bonsai! Takano is in such a good mood. It's really funny. Takano, did something good happen? Well, I mean... Takano just being like, nothing good happened. Yeah, I'm just like in an amazing mood. For no reason, guys. I'm just in a good mood, you know? What can I say? Good mood. That's interesting. So they're actually a security detail for her. I thought she was just like paranoid and thought they were the most reliable people she could call on to protect her, but it turns out they're actually working for the government. They're actually working for the government, and Tomitake is actually like a security, like in the military or some shit. That's really interesting. After looking through the items that have been donated for the auction, we'd realized there was nothing kids would be interested in. Yeah, that's true. A lot of auctions don't have too many exciting things for kids. But still, if they're actually working for the government and they know that the project's important, why would Rika not get the why would Rika's security disappear when they die? Maybe there's some orders from on high that are like, Tomitake is dead, let's pull out, this region's too hot, I don't know. But now we have a little bit more perspective on what Rika meant by her protection. After looking through the items that have been... Oh yeah, we already read that. I'm not going to read that. Keiichi insisted that the show wouldn't be a success unless there was something kids could beg their parents to buy. He's probably right. For that reason, we went to the toy store again today. We're trying to get the owner to donate something that would interest all the kids attending at the festival. I see, I did get to sell off my old stock. I mean, you know, different games. The other day, because of you guys. I want to support you if I can. My grandma wants the auction to be something both kids and adults can enjoy. That's what she's hoping for. You understand? Can't you help us, Uncle Yashiro? You can buy toys wholesale. I'm surprised. I'm sure they at least get them for half off. I'm sure they can at least get them for half off. I mean, this is a distributor, right? This guy is sorry, he's not a distributor, but he is a store owner, so he's getting them for massively cheaper prices, right? Because he's making a profit on MSRP. So if you have access to a vendor who can donate them, they're losing a lot less money, and you could probably pay them with some of the money from the auction if it's auctioned at or above market value, or even around market value might be okay. But I think they're probably going to sell for cheap, right? I don't actually know how much they'd sell for. Well, if that's what your grandmother wants, alright, I'll do my best. I don't know what she'd say to me on New Year's if I refused. Wow. I guess Mion's grandma is pretty scary. We've never met, but I've heard of how terrifying she can be. According to Shion-san, she enjoys ripping people's nails off. That's a Shichen trying to scare you. Jishan's not trying to scare her, that's 100% true. Shion's telling the truth. Mion can also attest to that. Although Mion didn't lose her nails. I know Mi-chan's grandma very well. She's a very nice lady, as long as you're polite to her. I'm impressed she can refer to that monster as a nice lady. She's scary when you're not polite. Also, she's scary if you don't show proper respect. Mipa! You're saying she wouldn't be nice to me? Keiichi, we have a deal. He said we could take some stuff. His laugh was a painful one. And the people in this village always listen to Mion. It's the power of the Sonosaki family. Mion's like their princess. No one would dare contradict her. You're also the princess of Furude, aren't you? Thank you. Members of the Sonosaki branch families who own businesses usually get their funding from Mion's family. They can never go against the will of the main branch. The Sonosaki family made a fortune on the black market after the war, and they've invested those as capital into businesses run by their family and the villagers. They charge almost no interest and require no cosigners or collateral. As long as one gives proper explanation, they'll provide a notable sum. The money has to be paid back, of course, but it's lent between family and community. They're willing to make some adjustments if one goes begging. For that reason, everyone's borrowing money from the family. And that, more than anything, is why they can never refuse a request from Mion. Alright, try and find something that might be interesting to kids. I need something big in size. It's not that exciting to sell a deck of cards at an auction, you know? Big things, big attention. So we need to look for something big and expensive. Oh, leave it to me. I'm very good at finding things like that. The store owner just sweating bullets. He's like, well, at least, wait, no, it's 1983. Never mind. I was gonna say, at least the like $5,000 Black Lotus isn't gonna be grabbed. But Magic came out in 1993, so this is 10 years before that. Try to be considerate of the owner too, everyone. Wow, look at Reina. This stuffed animal's so cute. What? Oh, it's adorable. I'm taking all of them home with me. You know, you guys, please don't take too much, okay? The shop owner smiled bitterly at us. I think this is Keiichi. It says swing on it. Is it like a playground kind of swing? Oh, it's so heavy. Must be a build-it-yourself swing. You can build it inside the house or outside in the yard. It's not as big as the swings you see on playgrounds, but it's big enough for little kids to play on. It's fun in the beginning, but they'll eventually get bored. And then it'll be used to hang laundry instead. That sounds like it's coming from experience. Did you have one of those, Keiichi? In my last house. I got it for Christmas when I was little. It looks really impressive, doesn't it? It's a good choice, Reina. Here, Keiichi, stick this paper on it. People from the council will pick it up later. Mion handed Keiichi a piece of paper that said Town Council on it. She was carrying around a whole stack of them. Oh dear god, the owner must be sweating bullets. He's like, oh my god, she has like a stack of these. She's really thorough when it comes to things like that. Keiichi-san, how about this one? It's a small pool you can put in your yard. Oh, that's a good choice too. What do you think, Mion? Well, in Hinamisawa, you can always go to the river if you want to play in the water. I don't know about that one. But this goldfish pattern's adorable. I think this pool's a good one, I think. I think so as well. Doesn't it just look perfect for setting all kinds of traps? No way, no way. I'm the one who's gonna end up trapped in there. We're not taking this one. How about this one? It's an elephant slide. I think this one's nice too. I want to take it home with me. If I push Satoko off the top, she'd roll down like a ball. Wouldn't it be so much fun? Don't you think, Hanyu? Stop being mean to Satoko. Oh, it's nice too. I'm taking it. You want everything, don't you? Alright, let me stick this paper on it. We enjoyed the privilege of picking donations for a while. I started to feel bad seeing the owner's troubled expression. I pat him on the head to try and comfort him. Rub, rub. Pat, pat. Wow, this is Mahjong. What is it, Kei-chan? Keiichi found something in the tabletop game section. I walked toward him to see what it was. And there I saw a green mat on the table with Mahjong tiles lined up on it. They were arranged in a square shape as if someone was playing there until just a few minutes ago. What's this, Uncle Yoshiro? Were you playing Mahjong at work? Oh, that's not it. I expected to see board games and card games in the toy store, but not Mahjong. What's wrong with playing Mahjong? That's literally a board game. Actually, wait, it's played with tiles. It's played with tiles. What the fuck do I call it? It's still a board game. It's like chess. You play chess with pieces. Well, you don't strictly need a board for Mahjong. It still counts as a traditional game. Guess it isn't weird for a toy store to sell this though. Yeah, like why wouldn't a toy store sell it? It's been a long time. I think I've forgotten most of the rules. It's incredible for a girl like you to know Mahjong. Oh, let me guess. You guys played this at the club, right? Must have been the end of last year. Of course, I was very good at it too. There were lots of traps lying in my discard pile. Mion. Listen here, you had 4 young girls together, and you were playing Mahjong at school. Hey, Kei-chan, you can't underestimate this game. Hinamisawa gets lots of snow in the winter. The whole village enjoys Mahjong in those months. We hole up inside a warm room and enjoy some tangerines and Mahjong. We turn on end-of-the-year music program on TV. That's what winter's like here. It's probably how the Sonozaki's family spends its winter. It doesn't mean the whole village does that. I forgot, Hinamisawa gets lots of snow in the winter. A lot of snow. I see, I guess Mahjong would be the standard game adults play around the kotatsu. Kei-chan, Mahjong is a serious game. It's a necessity in every man's social life. When they sit around the square jungle, they become Seiryu in the east, Byakko in the west, Suzaku in the south, and Genbu in the north. Abandoning their hierarchy and squabbles, they fight on equal terms. It's the same spirit as the ancient Olympic Games. See? Isn't it amazing? I'm less concerned with that and more afraid of what kind of punishment you'll set when bringing it at the club again. You know how to play, can't you? My dad loves it. He always forces me to play when he doesn't have enough people to play with. I don't know if I'm good, but I know the rules. I don't know how to calculate anything, though. Anyway, why is there a Mahjong table here? Why isn't there? Everyone looked at the owner. Well, I was talking with the customer this afternoon. He said he could show me how to do the Tsubame Gaishi. What? What did you say, the Tsubame Gaishi? That's the greatest scam in the history of Mahjong. It's the ultimate technique developed in ancient China. Its power is so great the emperor of the time banned its use. I didn't know there were people who could use it in this era. What? I'm very confused. Alright. By the way, this is a secondhand story I got from my father, so I can't guarantee the authenticity. Gosh, isn't that the technique of Musashi Miyamoto's? How does it involve Mahjong? I was just confused. I'm with Reina, I'm so confused. It's a bold technique. You switch your hand with the wall in a flash. Rika. Wait, Mion. Why would you teach something that bad to an innocent girl like this? Well, I want to see it. Can anyone do it? Can you, Rika? I don't know, but I can't do it myself. Satoko, weren't you practicing a while ago? Wait a minute, Satoko. Don't practice something like that at your age. She's a trap master. It sounds like something she'd do. It does. Oh, the best time to set a trap is when the opponent's sure of his victory. Did she ever get to master it? You're practicing, right? Well, I can never use it in a real game. Even in practice, I only succeeded once or twice. Wow. I want to see it. Do it for us. Do it for us. Me? I want to see too. I want to see too. Very well, y'all. Don't laugh if I can't pull it off, alright? Satoko sat in front of the table and started piling up the tiles. Do you think Satoko can do it? I don't know. It'll be amazing if she can, and cute if she can't. I don't care if she makes it or not, because I enjoy seeing her act shy like this. Well, first of all, you start by planting the tiles you want into the wall ahead of time. I see. And you later swap them for your hand? But how? Sleight of hand? Eh, well, you instantly swap the tiles in your hand with the planted tiles. It's a scene I'd love to show you all through an animation video or something. That'd be nice. Since we can only use words here, please make up for it with your imagination. Oh, they went a little bit meta. He's speedrunning losing. They're testing at cheating. I have no idea who me could be talking to. The viewers. You say that, looking at the camera. Are you ready? Everyone gulped and looked at the table. Satoko moved her hands like a swan on a lake. She had 13 tiles in front of her. Then she silently flipped them all face down. Then she lifted them up by holding both ends and silently placed them against the back edge of the wall, keeping them hidden. Is it Satoko? I don't know if I can do it. I'll try. We all went quiet. Satoko reached towards the Yamahai. Then she grabbed the whole thing with her small little hands. Let me explain how hard it is to pick up the wall for those of you unfamiliar with Mahjong. Your hand's usually made of 13 tiles. If you push into them from either side hard enough with both hands, you can lift them in the air. You might drop and scatter them if you're not experienced, but it's still not that difficult. Yep. However, it's not that easy for the wall. The Yamahai usually consists of 17 tiles. And plus, there are 2 rows on top of each other. This is the important part. It's not as simple as lifting 2 rows of 17 tiles on top of each other. You must lift up the 17 tiles from the top row, and only the 4 tiles on the edges of the bottom row. You have to lift 21 tiles, including 4 tiles on the edge of the bottom row. Interesting, okay. By setting them on the 13 tiles from your hand placed behind the wall, you can bury your hand in the wall, and the lower 13 tiles that remain from moving the wall become your new hand. This is the ultimate technique. Oh my gosh. So she's grabbing an entire... Okay, so she puts... I'm trying to think. So she's grabbing the top row. She's grabbing the top row and putting it in front of her hand. Wouldn't that be obvious that they cheated? It's a technique that lets you switch all 13 tiles in a split second. You do it, Satoko. I could see Satoko trying to concentrate. She was supposed to be doing this more naturally since it's a technique for cheating, but since for the moment it's just performance, I suppose it's fine. Someone audibly swallowed, and at that exact moment she made her move. Crash. She put too much strength into it. Her tiles fell apart. I can't do it. It's not that easy, you know? I see, but I think I understood the gist of it from Mion's explanation. Let me try it. I'm gonna try too. But I guess I have to master this one now, or else it becomes troublesome later on. I'm trying it too then. All of us except Mion took a seat and started piling up the tiles. At a glance, you look like small children just playing with the tiles. They're actually practicing Tsubamagashi. I'm proud how my club members are growing up to be decent kids. My hands and Satoko's are about the same size. If she can do it, I know I can. Of course, I can't really use this trick in a real game. We're just playing around, but I'm having a good time. I've never done this before in my 100 years of life. I think my hands are slowing down. I'm so frustrated. It's so hard to lift up just the first 13 tiles. Huh? Oh, listen, Reina, you gotta use your pinky fingers. There you go. It's gonna explode if you push too strongly. But you have to use enough strength to lift them up. It's difficult, isn't it? It's very difficult to lift the first 13 tiles to begin with. Not everyone can get past this stage. The Toko was doing well the first time, but she lost her concentration and is dropping tiles now. I took Keiichi's advice and supported the tiles with my pinky fingers, lifting them up and... Oh, I did it. Me? I lifted up the first 13 tiles. Good for you. Rika has the lead on us. We just gotta do better. You're good at this. Can you do the next step? It's not that easy. I really want to get it right before anyone else. It's what we're racing towards right now. I'm gonna do it. Right. Is Rika going to be the first one? Come on, Rika. I'm cheering for you, Rika. You're done if you pull off the next move. It's so difficult. Go, Rika. Yeah, Hanyu's cheering us on. We got one extra person cheering us on. This is the hard part. I had to lift the whole top row and only 4 tiles from the bottom row. Only 4 from the bottom. Okay. I probably didn't need to use too much force. I can do this. Crash. Too bad. With the number of tiles increased to 17, it got more difficult, didn't it? I'll do it before everyone else. There'll probably be a punishment for those who can't make it. What? Is that true, Mion? I wonder what I should do. There were only 4 seats. Mion wasn't even in the game. Did that mean she could set up a punishment with no risk? It's not fair. You're not even playing me, Chen. If you have time to complain, you should practice harder. It's getting interesting. I thought we came all the way to Okonomiya to get donations for the auction. Why are we doing this now? Although, that's why I love hanging without these people. Alright, if it wasn't for them, I would have lost my soul a long time ago. I would have become a worthless piece of flesh. I heard that rabbits can die from loneliness, but humans are no different. Humans can also die from boredom. Honey, I really think this world's special. I know all these events can happen individually. They're happening at the same time. This is a miracle. Your fate really was too unfortunate up to this point. You deserve this happiness once in a while. You're right. If I have such a miserable and deadly fate, I do deserve some happiness that evens out the sadness. I felt like the luck I'd been getting in this life was something I'd been saving up for 100 years. The people I love are all healthy and happy. I also asked Takano to reinforce my security. I don't know if she really will, but she did promise me. She never did that in my previous lives. I think your reaction to my request was the best one so far. In fact, she was skipping on her way back home. She must have been in a good mood. I was sorry for breaking the family rules, but I think this was worth it. I told them their lives were also in danger, but I doubt they really believed that. They didn't seem too frightened by it. In fact, during the meeting, they didn't even give a flying fuck or mention it. I'd have to give them a final warning on the night of Watanagashi. If I try warning them too often, they'll never believe me. That means there's nothing left for me to do in the world right now? Oh no. Until the moment of truth is here, it's impossible to tell. I'm blessed with miraculously good fortune in this world. I gave it my best effort using my previous experience, but did I do enough? I mean, you didn't ask Mion, or Reina, or Keiichi, or Satoko to help you out here. I wish I could have my fortune told. I just wanted something to tell me I did everything right. God, tell me what my fortune is. The person who can loop time wants to know their fortune. Irony, the person who can see the future wants to know the future more than anyone else. As soon as I made the wish, God granted it for me. Oh, what's going on in here? I suddenly heard a low voice. Keiichi and Reina dropped their tiles as they heard it. Hey, Uishi, what are you doing in the toy store during working hours? Hello there. Don't worry, I'm off duty today. Oh, you mean bad luck today? What are you all doing here, eh? It looked like Uishi was ordering something from the owner. I wondered what this old guy wanted from a toy store of all places. Mion was wondering the same, and she asked him instead of me. My Mahjong mask warped because I kept it rolled up in storage for a long time. The green cloth is peeling off on the underside of my Kotatsu board too. Couldn't use that one either. You play Mahjong at home? A nice way to spend your day off. Perhaps you got in trouble with the Mahjong bar and they banned you from going in there or something? No way, no way. I'm a gentleman in any public establishment. I'd never cause trouble like that. Anyway, you kids like Mahjong? I figured young people didn't even know about the game. Please don't underestimate my club. We'll play anything that has a winner and a loser. We never turn our backs to a battle. We play Mahjong, slot machines, horse racing, bike racing, boat racing, calligraphy, polar arrangement, and croquet. That's actually quite. I think she'll might make us fight in the middle of a lava pit someday. It's okay, Rika. Even if you die on that battlefield, you'll come back out of nowhere 2 or 3 chapters later. I have no idea what Keiichi and Rika are talking about. What do you guys do? Are you piling up the tiles? No, not that. We're practicing Tsubamegaishi. Oh, you're practicing it? Oh dear. He's the one who showed me how to do it earlier today. Oh, what did you say? It's not like I can use it in a real game, but it's one of the tricks I can do. Oishi-san, will you please show it to us? I really want to master it. If I don't, I'm gonna end up in real trouble this winter. Sure, let me show it to you. You must be the boy from the Maibara mansion. Oh, sorry. Yes, I am. Keiichi Maibara. I moved here recently. Nice to meet you. Okay. So Ishi's here. You've never met him before? This is Uishi from the police department. He's on the festival committee as head of the security team. You'll see him at the meeting too. I've heard about you. They say you're full of energy. I've been looking forward to meeting you because everyone's saying you're going to be a great auction host. You'll have such a big responsibility at the festival. I'm surprised you accepted. You've got a lot of courage. I'll do my best since I took on the job. I hope things go well. I'm Keiichi Maibara. Alright. So, we're meeting Uishi, and it's not a hostile reaction. This could also be really good luck. Although it could also be middling luck. We'll see. Like, for once, we're not hostile to Uishi for some reason, so that's cool. You're a very polite young man. I'm impressed. I'm Uishi from Okonomiya PD. You can call me Kura-chan if you want. You can sit in my seat, Uishi. Oh, thank you. Let me show you the trick then. He rapidly gathered the tiles. I could tell he'd been doing it for a long, long time. I heard judo fighters can tell their opponent's rank by looking at how he ties his belt. It's just like that. Thanks for the compliment. Alright, you ready? I'm gonna do it now. There you go. Thud, swoosh, clap. All done. Oh, done. That was fast. We all broke out in cheers. You often hear the audience cheer for a big performance on TV, but it really was more impressive seeing it in person. He did it so quickly, too. He made it look so simple anyone could do it, but everyone here knows it's difficult to do. That was why we were all impressed at how easily he performed the trick. Oh, you're amazing. You're so good. That was incredible. I'm seriously impressed, but will you teach me in slow motion? Sure, why not? Try and do what I do. It's more difficult in slow motion, but pay attention to how I use my fingers. Especially the pinkies. First, you go like this, right? Okay? You understand that part? Now, what comes next? Then, you do it like... no. Don't lift it up. Try and think of it as sliding it forward, but don't push. Just slightly lift it like a hovercraft. Slightly lift like a hover... There. Damn it! You don't need any strength. You can't make any noise, you know? You have to do it silently, like a ninja. Silently, like a ninja? Let me try one more time. It was strange. I'd never seen Keiichi and Uishi play Mahjong together. Keiichi and Uishi look like they've become good friends. Guess that's like a male bonding or something? Uishi usually only appears after Takano and Tomitake get murdered on the night of Watanagashi. He's only ever appeared on the scene as a detective. He always approached Keiichi as a detective, so he never thought of him as someone he could trust. He only thought of Keiichi as a decoy to expose the culprits among the villagers, or some nonsense like that. So, when you see it, it's hard to believe that Keiichi and Uishi are having a good time together like friends. I've never seen Keiichi and Uishi getting along with each other. I know. It's my first time too. How am I supposed to react to this? I thought it was a bad thing when I saw Uishi today. I couldn't understand this world at all. My heart was pounding. I had the strong feeling I'd roll a 6 every time I threw the dice. I should roll it again. I think I'll roll a 6 again. I know it. Before I roll it. If your dice are hot, do you really just keep rolling until you lose everything? I'll roll that 6, and I'll finally defeat my deadly fate. Welcome to our show. Oh, there you are. Rishi-san, I got it for you. My heart started racing. The voices sounded so familiar. I'd heard it before, but that can't be right. Hanyu always warned me, don't expect too much. It couldn't be him. Oh, Akasaka-san, thank you very much. Did you have any trouble finding the store? Sorry, I got lost. Who knows where I'd be now if that nice postman didn't help me. A young man was standing there. It's Akasaka. He's wearing a casual outfit and holding a plastic bag in his hand. I always thought Akasaka wore a shirt and tie. He's being very casual. He also seemed much smaller. He looked at me as I stared at him. And normally you look away when you make eye contact with a stranger, but we stare at each other without averting our gazes. Is that you, Akasaka? And you are Rika-chan. You know him? Akasaka, you knew Furude? That's a big surprise. Wait, is this Akasaka from Arc 4? What the heck? Is this actually the guy from Arc 4? Like he has a sprite now? Is this actually the guy from Arc 4? That'd be insane if it was actually him. He didn't show up, did he? He never shows up. What are the odds? What are the odds? He just randomly decides to come in for this arc? Are you serious? Dude, she is like rolling insanely hot dice. Holy shit. Are we sure these dice aren't loaded? Jesus. Been so long. You grew taller, didn't you? I'm stronger too. This is Mamoru Akasaka. He's a detective from the Tokyo Metropolitan Public Safety Department. He sometimes shows up in Hinamizawa in 1978. He has no relation to Hinamizawa or my curse, but outside the village, he's the person I trust the most. My god, it actually is him! That's insane. No way. We've never seen him here. This like has to be a dream, right? It's like the dream setup where you're like, I wish all of these things were happening, and then you wake up and you realize your life's a shit show. This is like the dream where you just wake up and you're like, ah, yes, I just retired to my $50 million mansion, and I'm about to go on a cruise on my personal yacht or some shit. Like it's so unlikely. Like you just think you're in a dream and you're gonna wake up. I asked for his help in the past several times, but nothing ever came of it. He's from so far away, he forgets about me once he returns to Tokyo. That's why I gave up on him. Why are you here in Hinamizawa again? Oh, I left my daughter with my parents, and I came here on a trip with my wife. Wife? What? His wife's dead, isn't she? His wife dies. Yes, you saved her life. You have no idea. Akasaka loves his wife so much. Was it 5 years ago? He was in Okonomi for a business trip, but he suddenly abandoned the job to return to her side. That's how much he loves her. That's so romantic. You warned me something bad was going to happen if I didn't go back to Tokyo. It really concerned me, so I went right back to the hospital where Yuki was, and I heard a janitor got in an accident on the stairs that led to the rooftop that day. The tiles on the stairs were loose. The janitor fell down the stairs and got seriously injured. I knew it was going to happen because I'd seen him lose his mind after hearing about his wife's death in a life I lived a long time ago. Falling down the stairs seems like just the luck of the draw. I didn't think it would happen all the time, but it happened to him over and over and over. I thought there must be some kind of reason behind it. I guessed it was because of the broken tiles on the stairs. If he didn't show up at the hospital that day, his wife would have gone up the stairs. It was her daily routine, but she didn't go because he showed up. Meanwhile, the janitor went up and got injured. Rika saved Yuki's life. I'm not sure if that's really true, but Akasaka has no doubt you saved his wife's life. He really wanted to meet you again. Rika's good at predicting things sometimes, though. That's because she's the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama. Oops. Kuma-chan and Sato should be here soon. We gotta hurry, Akasaka. Well, my bar, let's do this again. I'll teach you something more useful next time. Sure. Thanks very much. See you again, Rika. How long are you staying here, Akasaka? I'll be here until after Tanagashi. Kind of long for a vacation, isn't it? They told me I need to use up my vacation days, and I just finished a big job, so my boss told me take some time off. I'll be here at the festival. I heard it's going to be a huge event. That's right. It'll be more than just the drinking party you had last time. Akasaka, let's go. Okay, this is good. This is good. We have ammunition now. We have an extra we have an extra character in play. And even more importantly, he's someone who believes in us, which means we might be able to save Takano or Tomitake. We might be able to save them just by having these extra pieces in play. If Rika has her bodyguard escort and Takano and Tomitake live, we might actually get a successful playthrough. But then, I can't help but wonder, what is Arc 8 for? I mean, we're in Arc 7, we're not in Arc 8. So, this ends badly, right? Because if it ended nicely, I mean, it feels like we've already had all the bad endings, so if we have another good ending, if we have the good ending here, it'd be kind of weird to just go back to another normal bad ending. Right? You saved Yuki's life, I'm gonna make it up to you one day. When that comes, I'll lend you my strength. Time comes. I'll be killed in June 1983. It's been 5 years, I'm stronger, I'm more experienced, I'm different now. I'm sure I can help you. I felt like I rolled a 6 without even throwing the dice. Akasaka followed Uishi and ran outside into the bright sunlight. Does this also seem like luck to you? It seems like fate's on your side this time. Remember that day we had a club activity in this toy store? The moment I refused to play the fishing game, the world started changing. My will's changing the path of fate. My strong will is going to change my fate. If I have a strong will, I can also change these results. I mean, this is looking very promising, right? We rode our bikes back home together. I was in a good mood. I almost felt like humming a song. I could feel my deadly fate slowly falling to pieces. I felt like my fate was urging me to move on. Just like the sun and moon during an eclipse, the wheels of my fortune were perfectly matched for the first time in a long time. Or, here's a thought. Does she not know about the gas explosion? So she's gonna succeed and then die in the evening and be like, what the actual fuck just happened? It might be a thing that happens. This really might have been a miracle. It wasn't like the true miracle of Keiichi remembering the past. It was a good fortune within expectations, but when it was arranged this well, it was good enough to be considered a miracle, right? Like, this is going really well. I couldn't remember the last time I felt so good in June of 1983. My name is Rika Furude. My ominous fate was moving away from me. With each step I took, that deadly fate withdrew further and further. I have to stay strong and take advantage of this miracle. So I moved forward at high speed. But Tanagashi was close. My luck and effort brought about a miracle. And so, I'll defeat my fate. This time for sure. Go for it, yeah. The next moment, something happened. Keiichi accidentally scratched a motorcycle that was parked by the street, and a group of 3 delinquents were trying to intimidate him. Ugh, what do we do? Just watch. I have the power to get rid of them now. I think we should call the police. Oh, don't worry, Satoko. Leave it to me. Rika? Hey, Rika! I walked towards the delinquents even as they grabbed Keiichi by his collar. The hell are these pathetic guys? Are they trying to stand in my way when I'm trying to have a happy future? I gotta teach them. Nothing can stop me now. I know I'm rolling a 6, not even throwing the die. There is such a thing as, there is confidence and then there is arrogance. Are you bordering on arrogance, Rika? Say something, punk. Are you listening to me? They continued grabbing Keiichi's shirt. Keiichi, Mion, and Reina were staring at them with a vicious look in their eyes. And I got in between them. What the hell do you want? Get the hell out of here. Don't even think about ruining my fate. I plucked his nose with my fingers again. He never experienced that a little girl like me, never expected a little girl like me would attack him. He seemed surprised, but he quickly returned to being angry. Then he picks me up by my collar, too. Rika, stop it, you jerk. Let her go. Oh, Rika, do you have a plan? No, I don't. I'm trying to prove there's nothing compared to the power I have now. I can't deal with this situation. I'll never escape my fate. I rolled the die, knowing what I was gonna get. I knew I'd be rolling a 6. The next moment, 2 men in working overalls came up to the 3 delinquents and tapped them on the shoulders. Let go of her. She's just a little kid, you know. The hell are you? They started the fight. Shut up and go away. These working men weren't just random people who were passing by. I knew who they were. Let's have a talk over there. One of the men pushed the 3 delinquents off the side of the street. The other man spoke to me in a calm voice. Are you okay, Rika? Thank you very much. You saved us. He lent me his hand so I could stand up. Off with you now. We'll take care of the rest. I don't know who you are, but thank you so much. Are you sure we can go now? Yes. Don't worry about us. Thank you very much. I can hardly believe Keiichi was so weak. Let's go, everyone. We got back on our bikes in a hurry and left the scene. I assume that's her security detail. They had no idea who saved us, but we're glad that all of us were safe. But I knew who they were. They must have been the security guards who worked for Takano. She kept her promise. They're professional bodyguards. They only do what they're ordered to, but they make sure their mission's complete. If Takano told them to protect me, that's the best protection I can get. After we left the scene, a white van with 2 men in it followed us. Nightingale reporting. Ours moving to the safe zone. We'll continue escorting her. This is Heron. Roger that. Everything was working in my favor for the first time ever. The pedals seemed so light that day. I felt like I could fly into the sky if I wanted to. I mean, life is good. Things are looking up, guys. It's going to be a great arc. Nothing bad's going to happen to us. Unfortunately, if you look at the chapter count, it's not looking good. As the current chapter means we're... Oh, what? What is she doing here? Interesting. Here's your plane ticket. Don't be late. You'll get the rest of the money when you get there. Thanks. Here, Mamiya. Thank you. I always wanted to go to Sapporo. Are you sure Hojo's not suspicious of you? Oh, don't worry. He's stupid. He's got a big dick and a big attitude, but that's all he's got going for him. Is that so? The next moment, they heard several cars coming towards them. The man looked out the window and saw 3 black cars screeching to a halt by the apartment building. Several intimidating men emerged from those cars, and some of them even looked up towards the window. He quickly hid himself behind the curtain. Shit, they're here. Run, run! Are you serious? But why? Come on, Mamiya. They're gonna kill you! Heard the men running up the stairs, and they sounded angry. Interesting. I mean, I don't care about her life, because she's a gold-digging scum, but, you know. And so is, presumably this Mamiya dude. It's either Mamiya or Teppei I don't know, is she calling... No, it's Teppei Hojo. Who is Mamiya, then? Maybe it's a nickname for Teppei? I don't know. Ara, indeed. Although, why you're chasing a literal gold digger, I don't know. A literal gold digger. Like, you know she just tries to suck all the money she can out of people and then leaves them, right? Or puts them in a compromising position so she can extort money out of them. Not really a great person. But, Ara-aras, I guess. Ara-aras, I guess. Alas, we're only in Chapter 4. Things are looking good because we're not halfway through the game. If we were in Chapter 7, things would look considerably more grim. Boing boing. Since when does Satoko have boing boing? I don't know what's happening, they're just making faces. Ren is in bloomers, but Rika's still wearing her regular school outfit. Okay. It was a very humid day. Evidently so. Not even a slight breeze was blowing. It had been an unpleasant summer and a hot one. It wasn't only hot, but swelteringly so. There were various articles of clothing hung out to dry in the messy apartment windows, but the lack of the wind evoked an impression far removed from coolness. In fact, it felt more oppressive. A tournament arc? That could be fun. There were crooked houses and apartments lining the narrow, twisting road. In addition, there were planters and flower pots whose contents were beginning to rot, and bicycles and cars on the sides of the road, making it more cramped, more oppressive, and all the more sweltering. That's weird. This is a weird text follow-up to what looked like they were just playing games in the schoolyard. Or it looked like they were playing games in the schoolyard, and suddenly we're going to, like, a depressing image of, like, what, a murder scene? Nobody who was in this place at this time was visiting it voluntarily. See? It's like they're describing, like, a murder scene. or something, and but they started with like shots of the whole group having fun. In spite of what everyone might expect, a single motorcycle came rolling in. The motorcycle stopped in front of a two-story apartment, one that could hardly be called neat, even as flattery. A man, fairly old and wrinkled, stepped off. When a nearby neighbor hanging out the laundry noticed him, he called out, "Well, hello there, neighbor. Hot today again, isn't it?" "Ooh, you got that right. I feel like I'm gonna boil out here." Suddenly, I got goosebumps all over my body. I felt like something bad was about to happen for no reason. Everyone gets this feeling a different way. Some people get a twitch in their eyelids, or some kind of movement in their ears. In my case, I got goosebumps. Satoko was supposed to be cooking dinner tonight. We didn't have much inside the fridge, so I asked her to go grocery shopping. I was just watching TV and relaxing while I waited for her. She was usually back by the time my cartoon was over, after which she'd start cooking dinner, but my cartoon was over. The news had started, and Satoko wasn't home yet. She sometimes waited until they had a sale at the store. In that case, she'd usually come home late. I guess that's what's happening. It's too early for me to start worrying about her, right? Right? Is Tepe Hojo returning? But, I can't explain this feeling. I can't explain it, but I feel extremely, extremely worried. And once I start feeling like that, I couldn't just sit in the room and wait for her. Hanya? Hanya? Where are you? I thought she might know where Satoko might be, but she's never around when I need her. Hanyu isn't with me 24 hours a day. She sometimes falls asleep, and sometimes goes out for walks. Though in her case, it's not a walk, but more like a stalk. She follows people around when she finds something interesting, and enjoys absorbing them. Anyway, I had no choice. If I wanted to find Satoko, I'd have to do it on my own. I had a good idea of which stores she goes to. I could check those first. We're in Hinamizawa. If I asked people, they'd tell me where she went. Hello there, Rika-chama. It's a blessing to see you here. Did Satoko come here today by chance? Haven't seen her here. I've been out all day. I would have seen her if she was here. I didn't even have time to say thanks. I ran to the next store. People were greeting me and waving at me, but I'd usually smile and greet them back, but I had no time for that at the moment. Satoko, Satoko, Satoko. I need Satoko in my life. I was able to survive so long because of her support. Without her, the world would be empty. It would be boring. Satoko is nonchalant and optimistic, unlike me. I've learned so many things from her over the past 100 years, but I still need to learn more from her. Satoko? People stared at me as I ran by them, screaming out her name. I didn't care what they thought, though. Satoko? Satoko? Why are they looking at me like that? I'm looking for Satoko. Someone tell me where she is. My heart was convulsing inside my body like a fish out of water. What little stamina I have, I hate this body for being so young. You know, the store on the corner always has a sale in the evening. She might be there. I went to a few different places, but I still couldn't find her anywhere. The people I talked to gave me advice on where to go, but I couldn't find her in any of the places they suggested. I continued running, looking for her. I continued to run even when I bumped into people. I don't know, I had so many customers, I can't remember. There's only a few places in Hinamizawa we can go grocery shopping. It shouldn't be that difficult to find her, why couldn't I? Aha! I tripped on something in the street and fell flat on the ground. I injured my hand on a small rock embedded in the ground. I didn't feel much pain though, even though I said ouch. It just felt hot, as though I'd touched a frying pan. Suddenly, someone handed me a pretty handkerchief. Are you okay? Did you get hurt? Oh, it's Reina. How's it going, Reina? Did you see Satoko anywhere? Reina was carrying a grocery bag. I'd heard Satoko bumps into Reina often when she goes grocery shopping. They tend to choose the same stores. Satoko? No, I didn't see her. Was she at grocery shop? Yes, you didn't see her? Ooh, this is concerning. You know, I did say things were looking too good. I wasn't thinking things would turn so grim so quickly, but I'm predicting here that maybe Tepe Hojo returned. That might be the downside. We had such a good run, and now things like fall apart because we only had a really good start based on luck. Yo, grocery shop? You didn't see it? No, I didn't. There's no way she could have missed the big sale at the market today. I was there, but I didn't see her. My brain wasn't getting enough oxygen, and it took me a while to understand what Reina was talking about. I understood Reina didn't see Satoko, but that wasn't the point. They had a huge sale in the market. There's no way she'd miss that. But she didn't see her? What's that supposed to mean? What happened? Did she leave her wallet at home or something? Well, I couldn't find the right words to explain. Should I tell her I feared something bad happened to Satoko and that's why I was looking for her? I couldn't do that. I couldn't think too deeply about why she didn't return. What's wrong? Can I help you? Talk to me. I knew she was trying to help me. I even thought I needed someone to help me a few moments before, but now that she was here, I had no idea what I was supposed to say. But that's not it. The truth is, I know. Somehow I know. I wouldn't have to know if I was someone else. But I have to know this. Rika Furude has to know what's going on. I know it. I remember it. I knew this was coming. I've experienced a world before where Satoko suddenly disappeared, but the possibility is as low as Akasaka showing up in Hinamizawa. It only happened once in my other lives. It's not the first time. It happened before. I should see it for myself. I needed to see if I got stuck inside a devastating world once more. Talk to me? Sorry. Goodbye. Rika! I started running. I couldn't predict, like I didn't know where she was. I couldn't pretend like I didn't know where she was, yeah. Please don't tell me I was blessed only up to this point. I'm about to fall back into my unfortunate fate from here on. I thought this world was different. I thought I could move on to a happy future. I thought I'd be able to defeat my deadly fate in this life, but this is just horrible. It's horrible. This was happening to this world. I was standing in front of the place I hate the most in Hinamizawa, the Satoko home, the Hojo residence. I did predict Teppei Hojo was returning. Yep. Alright. I've been living with her since last fall, so this house was empty. In the beginning, she used to come back here to pick up her clothing and other necessities, but once she moved most of her stuff to my house, she stayed away from this place. It was a sad place for Satoko because all she could remember of it was the horrible time she spent with her uncle and aunt, and the memory of her missing brother Satoshi. Also, uncle and aunt is in the wrong order. Should be spent with her aunt and uncle. That's why she never wanted to come back here, but that wasn't the reason I hate this house. It's because I know what happens whenever this house becomes an issue in my life. Please bless me with one more fortune. I closed my eyes and prayed and slowly opened them. The window was open on the second floor, and I saw a faded curtain swinging inside. And as soon as I saw that, my knees realized what was going on before my mind processed it, and in that next moment, I lost the strength in my legs, collapsing on the ground. I saw an unfamiliar motorcycle parked by the house. I saw laundry and a futon hanging outside, and I was certain someone was living there. It was proof someone was living inside this house. It's never good when there's someone living inside this house. This was very, very bad. Yeah, this ends very badly for just about everyone involved, because nobody wants to intervene or is willing to. Except for Keiichi, and when Keiichi intervenes, he usually ends up he kills that Teppei Hojo. So things go poorly because no one can live a happy life. This is not good. We're gonna have to find a solution. I mean, look, you've broken fate before. This is your first wall. The first real wall. Come on, Rika. I want you to save Satoko without Teppei Hojo. Without killing Teppei Hojo. Can we do this? Come on. I knew exactly why. I knew why, but I felt like I wanted to act like I didn't know. Rika? Satoko! Satoko went outside to take the futon in and noticed me. Rika? Satoko looked down and forced herself to smile. I felt so sad. It wasn't just her expression. I could tell her left cheek was red and swollen. Satoko, don't stay here. Let's go home. I took her hand, but she still looked down without squeezing back. Rika, I think I'm going to go back to this house. Why's that? My uncle came back and he told me we should live together in this house. I know that's not what you want. You don't want to live with your mean uncle. So is this the arc where... So here's the thought. Is this the arc where we actually resolve Satoko's problem for real? Because Satoko doesn't... I don't think Satoko remembers her troubles or the solution to the troubles, right? So Satoko doesn't remember anything, but it seems like Keiichi remembers something, and Shion definitely remembers something. Is this where we get Satoko to remember, or we find a solution or get Satoko to remember something about this shit? But I have no choice. If I go back to your house, oh, come and get me. I don't want to cause trouble for you. She gave up with a sad smile. She looks exactly how she looked 1 year ago in 1982. Her uncle only slapped her face, and she's back to being the Satoko from 1982. The cheerful Satoko I knew until yesterday could no longer be found. I took care of Satoko and tried to heal her wounded heart for over a year. She finally got her smile back, but her uncle took it away with just one slap to the face. A broken soul can recover over time, but her damaged heart can never be fixed completely. I just took the broken pieces and put them back together. The cracks in her heart will always be there. That's why she wouldn't come with me, no matter how hard I tried to pull her hand. She couldn't get over the fear. She knew just how scary her uncle could be. Satoko, what the hell are you doing? Better not go anywhere. I heard a disgusting voice from inside the house. Satoko stared at the ground, her shoulders shaking. Eh? Who the hell's this? He came out and stood right behind her. It's nothing, I just voted my friend. I don't care. Get inside and clean the bathtub. I want to take a bath, you idiot. Satoko scampered back inside the house like a terrified small animal. I feel devastated as I watched her go. Were you asking her out to play? I'm sorry, she's busy taking care of chores. I'm her uncle. I've been out for a while on a business trip. Finally back in the village, you know? Liar. He only showed up because his lover went missing. In another world, once I let my hatred out on him. But then he inflicted that anger in equal turn onto Satoko, so I couldn't allow that dark flame in my chest to reflect in my eyes. Since I couldn't make myself smile, I couldn't insult him. All I could do was give him a short bow and flee the scene. Intimidated by my scary face, huh? I heard his hideous laughter from behind me. I cried as I ran away. I couldn't stop crying. I thought this was a perfect world until today. Why was God doing this to me? It's too cruel. No, this is your obstacle. This is the first wall. You've had a good start, and you're up to your first wall. You gotta break down an actual wall now, not some joking thing you can just shatter by straying from the path like the fishing game. Oh, I don't want to play this game. So easy to break, or just refusing to do something. This is your first time. You gotta do something, Rika. Come on. I couldn't give up yet. I couldn't do anything, but I still had hope for this world. I didn't think the luck I had until yesterday was just a random thing. I went back to my house in a hurry. I needed to make a phone call. I didn't know the number because it was my first time calling the place. I looked inside the phone book and found it easily. I made a call to that number. Who's she calling? Who's she calling? Mion? Let's see. I'm predicting Mion. Oh, hello. Didn't expect to get it all from you, Furude-san. What can I do for you? I already knew Uishi would never save Satoko based on what I've seen in my previous lives. For him, Satoko is only a good way to get at the Sonozakis. Her uncle is probably his prey in that regard too. Even if I talked to him about her situation, he'd do nothing to save her. The only thing he'd tell me would be to call Child Services. I want to talk with Akasaka. Is he there? Akasaka? Oh, it was Ushi. He went to the hot springs in Wakura with his wife. Wakura? That's not anywhere near here. I thought he was staying here until Watanagashi. I heard he's going to stay in a hotel owned by a relative of his. Wish I could go too. What? You want to know where Wakura is? In the Ishikawa prefecture, on the Noto Peninsula. No way. He told me he was staying until Watanagashi? I thought he meant he was staying in Hinamizawa. You actually mean this area of the country? Oh, fuck. Can you get a hold of him somehow? It was a meaningless question. There's no way I could get him to come while he's enjoying this trip with his wife. Even if I can talk to him on the phone, he'll probably only tell me call Child Services or something. I don't know where he's staying. I heard he's in a very famous luxury hotel, so I can make a good guess. I'm sure they won't give me the room number since they're strict about customer privacy these days. Okay, then did he tell you he's coming to the Watanagashi? He did. He's coming back here after the hot springs. They stayed there for one night and then left for the Noto Peninsula. I'm sure they'll be back before the day of the festival. He said he'd be back with a souvenir for you. How terrible. I thought it was too good to be true. I knew it was kind of strange for him to stay in a boring place like this. My luck seems to be turning. This might not be a surprise, though. Just like I can roll a 6 3 times in a row, I can roll a 1 3 times, too. Happy things and unhappy things can happen with equal probability. The good news is, in this case, you literally couldn't control whether he even showed up, but he showed up. You might have been able to influence... I feel like, Tepe showing up is actually in your sphere of influence. You could reasonably do something, or at least try. But we'll see. Hello? If you want to leave a message, I'll take it for you. I looked at the calendar on the wall. I didn't know when he was coming back, but I was certain he wouldn't be for at least one more week. I thought back to the past to try and remember what happened. That guy will break Satoku apart in 1 week. I couldn't wait that long. I had to give up on seeking help from Akasaka. Okay, new plan. Oh, that's okay. I still had one more option. One more person to rely on.
Senpai?
It's alright. Thank you for your help.
Senpai?
I hung up the phone after thanking him. I couldn't make a phone call to the next person. I'd have to talk to him in person. I put my shoes on and headed to the Erie Clinic. The clinic's hours were over for the day. There was usually no one here after that. But Erie might be there. However, since Tomitake was here, they should still be inside the building for a meeting. They had to be there. The front door to the clinic was locked, as expected. I went around to the back and rang the bell. The whole clinic is nervous when Tomitake is around. They usually ignore visitors, but I'm special. What's wrong? I heard you had an emergency. You need me too? That doesn't sound good. Yuri and Takano showed up soon after I was taken into the visitor's room. If Rika had an emergency, it's a priority for these people. I'm the most important person in the village. Could it be? Someone's trying to get you? You're protected at all times by elite security of the mountain dogs. They've been watching you since the day we made that promise. I had no doubt about that. They saved me right away when we had the competition with those 3 delinquents the other day. That's not it. I have a favor to ask. I want you to save Satoko from danger. What happened to Satoko? Yuri doesn't have that much power alone, even if he really wants to save her, but Takano controls the mountain dogs. She does have that power. In my previous lives, I was never able to get help from the dogs. I wasn't on good terms with Takano, but this world is different. I have a better relationship with her in this life. She even kept the promise she made. This is ambitious. How are you going to save Satoko? How are you going to get her to save Satoko? Even if she controls like a squad of bodyguards, what is she going to do here? I trust their ability completely now. This is ambitious. Tepe Hojo is back? Oh, that's horrible. It was mainly Satoko's aunt who was abusing her last year, but Iri knows her uncle is violent with her too. I told them Satoko went back to the same condition she was in the previous year. I don't know what will happen. I need you to help me save her. Yuri seemed to want to do something, but he didn't know what to do. What should we do? We call the police and let them know? I don't know about that. At the moment, it's not like anything serious happened, is it? Only a matter of time. Something bad's gonna happen if we don't do anything. Concerning, right? I hate to say it's only a matter of time. I mean, I knew how she was going to get abused and how she was going to end up. I've seen it in the past. I really wanted to tell them about it, but I couldn't do that. No doing that. As it hasn't happened in this world, they'd think I was just imagining it. I think you should call child services first. I remember. Toko made a false report to child services once. I wondered if they'd take her seriously. The answer is no. My friends contacted Child's Consultation Center several times in the past. Toko always refuses their help. She claims she isn't being abused. Yeah, we know that. That's exactly what she does in the route where Keiichi kills Tepe. The Satoko from 1983 might have asked for their help. Currently, she's the Satoko from 1982. For her, living with her uncle reminds her of the time when Satoshi was around. She feels like Satoshi will come back if she can live strongly without relying on her brother. And even if child services were to take the case seriously, too late. I tried to remember. In the most recent world I experienced, it only took a few days after Satoko was kidnapped by her uncle. Only a few days for him to tear her heart apart. We had no time to waste. We needed to take action quickly. Can't really do anything unless she seeks help. I think Dr. Iri can call the police, but that's about it. I'm sorry. That's not it. I want you to help Takano. Iri and Takano looked shocked. Both went quiet. They didn't expect me to seek help from Takano. You mean you want us to take a much bolder action? I'm here to ask for that. I wouldn't be here this late otherwise. I understand, but... Yuri, if you cherish Satoko, listen to me this once. Please save Satoko. Less than a few days, she'll really end up in horrible shape. It's already guaranteed. If you try and wait and see how things go, it'll be no different than watching her die. How have you forgotten? Have you forgotten how Satoko was last year, Yuri? She's already back there, right this very second. In a few more days, he'll be too late to do anything. All I could do was stare at him. Believing Iri could see the future, only I knew. the tragic end awaiting Satoko reflected in my eyes. He remained silent for too long to call brief. Someone trying to think of an excuse to avoid the issue wouldn't go silent that long. He was recalling Satoko's terrible state last year, and seriously considering if my plea was as urgent as I made it out to be. I know he really cares about her. It's why I need his help. What should we do? Eri nodded and looked up. I guess he finally came to a conclusion. I hope it's a positive one. I'm curious, what's he gonna do? This seems very ambitious. That's what I'm gonna go with. It seems incredibly ambitious to ask them to do this. I'm not saying it's a terrible idea, it just seems like it's something that's almost out of the reach of reason for these two people to actually do something. Based on what I know about them. I mean, we know a little bit more about Takano. She's like maybe working with the military. But that's still not... I don't know if that's like... I don't know if they can take I don't know if they can take like arbitrary action and detain Teppei Hojo. Like that seems a bit awkward. They're not gonna like storm his house and shoot him or something. Like I don't know what they're gonna do. Maybe set up cameras and record that shit. Although I don't know. I don't know if they can actually do that because the 80s. I don't know. Do what Rika wants you to do. Eri? I remember how hopeless I felt when I couldn't do anything to save her last year. I want to take this chance and save her this time. Alright, it's Eri. Come on, Eri. But doctor... Takano didn't think that Eri would make that decision. She seemed shocked to hear his response. I'd like to ask you as director of this clinic. Please help Satoko. Dr. Eri, what do you mean when you say help her? Please calm down. Satoko is very important to us. She's greatly contributed to our research for a long time. Protecting her is considered one of your work orders. Eri continued, though Takano tried to persuade him. Kyosuke Eri is asking you as your boss, please save Satoko. I stared into Takano's eyes together with him. Thought you and Satoko were friends. Please help her as her friend. Help her, huh? That's a hypocritical way of saying. You're not telling me to kidnap her and lock her up somewhere safe? You want me to help her so she can have a normal, happy life. In other words, you want her uncle dead, right? You have the right to make the ultimate decision of how you're going to save her. What? She's like, so you want me to kill him? And he's like, up to you, dude. But if you don't want to, I don't mind making that decision. Dr. Eri, no, Section Chief. If we carry out your order, both you and I will be responsible for it. Are we really asking like the military? Are we really asking the government to take out a hit on Teppei Hojo? That's so, holy shit, that's crazy. What the heck? I thought they'd just be like, yeah, we're gonna like use our authority to requisition this person or like, you know, like make up some bullshit excuse that'll like stall him, and they're like, oh no, we're gonna kill him. And they're like, wait, are we really killing this guy? Wow, that's spicy. We went from like 0 to 110 so fast. I thought by save they were just gonna like surely they're the government, a restraining order, like something like that. Surely they could like get some shit through where they're like, you know, this is urgently important. It's a complete disaster. It'll disrupt our resources. Millions of dollars have been spent on this. You can't let this guy near her. He's horrible. Like surely they could go before a court or like a magistrate or a judge and get a government and like an injunction of some sort to keep him away from her. But no, this is what they're doing. All right. Going 0 to 110 in like 2 seconds. Are you ready for that? I looked at his face. Unlike me, Eri had many things to lose. I knew Takano's words would shake him emotionally. However, Eri was determined. That's fine. Even if I'm called forward to defend my actions, it's better than betraying my heart. An impressive show from someone who doesn't know what a hearing's like. Well, if you do it quietly, they may not find out about it in Tokyo. Everyone would be happy that way. All risk, no reward. If you want, I'll show you more treasures in the shrine. I'll never restrict you from seeing those things. Please help me. The risk she's taking is larger than the reward I'm offering, but that's about the only thing I can offer her. I don't care about the traditions of the shrine as long as I can save my friend from her suffering. Fine, I don't want to be the bad guy here. She forced a smile and accepted the favor I asked her for. Thank you, Takano. I want you to make the decision of how to save her. I'll have a meeting at Okinoki later to plan out the mission. Not later, now. She promised to save Satoko, but she still wasn't motivated for it. It'd be too late if she didn't do something right now. I tried to make Takano understand this is urgent. Great. Rika and I want to see some kind of result right now. I'm sorry for asking you at this time. Can you please contact them now? You guys are passionate about her, huh? Okay. It might take a few minutes. Thanks so much. No problem. It's an order from my boss. I'll do whatever I can. Just don't forget the promise you made, Rika. I promise. I'll even serve you some rice cakes and tea when you come to the shrine. Takano smiled slightly and left the room. Once we finally heard her footsteps fade, the tension in the room dissolved. And Eri offered me something to drink, but I refused. He must have thought everything was taken care of, but I couldn't relax until Satoko was physically returned to me. Does she have enough medication with her? Her uncle will keep her locked inside the house. She won't be able to come here for a while. Fortunately, I gave her a stock of medicine and needles last week. She should be fine for a while. However, her mental state can't be controlled by the medication. If she gets too stressed, that could cause some serious damage. Wait, why do you need to kill someone? Why do you need to kill someone? Can't you just... Why do we need to kill someone? If this person... Because remember, Satoko we now know has, like, some disease or some, like, brain disease or some shit that's, like, super bad for her, and they're trying to keep her alive by medicating her twice daily. If you have a disease that's literally so bad that being put in a bad situation could, like, kill you, like, surely you could have an argument and surely you could get in front of somebody within a day. I bet you could do it in a day. Same like getting a warrant. You know, it takes a day. It takes like a day maybe. If it's urgent, you can get in and be like, hey, this person, it's like for medical reasons, this person can't be allowed to control this person's life because they're gonna decline. He's liable to deny her access to medicine. He didn't let her in previously. Blah blah blah. Like, she's been stable, and she's already unstable at this point. It's really bad for her health if she's with him. For health concerns, you should be able to say something like that. Like, it's actively bad for her. I mean, she's a minor though, so I don't think she's a minor though, so I don't know if parents or the child have the final say in medical treatment for people. So that might be a problem. Like, because I mean, you have some privacy, right? You do have some medical privacy from your parents, even as a minor, in Canada and the U.S., I believe. You have some measure. It's not a lot, but you have some, and you're still entitled to make some decisions on your own, I think. Because I'm pretty sure. I'm not positive. I think you can get on birth control without your parents' consent. I think you can do that in some states. I don't actually know what the laws for medical privacy are in Japan though, and I don't know if they're enough to effectively get like a restraining order filed. Of course, Satoko would have to push for that, and Satoko's probably not going to do that herself. So they're basically trying to find a way to do it without her consent. Get him away from her without her consent, which might mean use of force, although intimidation and pointing guns at someone might be effective. They might not actually need to kill him. Yeah, some serious damage in a few days. It's not looking good for Satoko. Takano hadn't come back yet. I thought it would be bad news if she came back too early, but I just started feeling nervous after she'd taken so long. Eri insisted I go home since it was getting late. I couldn't go home and relax, though, until I heard from her everything was taken care of. I had to wait for her to come back. I needed to deal with the tension until then, and over an hour later, Takano finally returned. Sorry it took so long. How did it go? She was looking for the right words. I got a very bad feeling from her reaction alone. Unfortunately, it won't go as easy as we hoped anymore. Why is that? There was a murder case in Okinomi not too long ago. The police suspect Teppei Hojo of involvement in the crime, and they have him marked. A murder case? What do you mean? Some woman named Mamiya laid her hands on the Sonozaki family's earnings and was murdered to set an example. Apparently, the police took an interest in the relationship between Hojo's and Sonozaki's. Turns out the woman was Teppei Hojo's lover. Otanagashi is getting closer too. The police want to prevent the fifth curse this year, so they marked Teppei Hojo as candidate for this year's victim and started casting their lines. What do you mean by lines? They suspect they can reel in the culprit behind Oyashiro's curse if they keep an eye on Teppei Hojo. So, you mean... Rika, I'm sorry. The mountain dogs can't do anything to him until the police stop spying on him. No, I thought the mountain dogs perform any mission no matter how Yeah, that's ambitious. It's only when we plan it out carefully with extensive preparation. Usually we take a long time to observe the target, and we look for the right opportunity. It can take between 6 months and a year for a mission like this. Remember, we're a secret organization. We remain out of the spotlight. If our secret's revealed, everything's over. It's too risky to target someone like him. And when would the right opportunity come? It will be after Watanagashi at the earliest. After the festival, the police stop watching him. Be too late. She's saying it'd be after Watanagashi. I didn't even know if it was a day after or 1 year after. She also said it usually takes 6 months to prepare this mission. That's too long. I thought this world was different, but that hope was slipping through my fingers. How can we save her? I think it's best to follow the rules. We should report this to the police or the consultation center. We can even talk to the school. Did that many times. It's never worked! Iri and Takano were surprised. They never expected me to raise my voice. In fact, I didn't think myself that I would react this way. But I couldn't keep my emotions in check after Takano suggested all those meaningless solutions. I've cooperated with you guys all this time. I never even asked for anything. I gave you my support. You can't even save Satoko with all that power? You're so afraid of saving her? The police and public service are useless. You guys only take advantage of us and never actually help. Fine, I get it. I know this world's nothing but a dead end. I'm not interested in you anymore. I don't even care about this world. That's right. I can never escape my fate. It's the same old fate I keep on repeating. You just burn to death in the mountains, and you just take a sleeping pills and commit suicide. I'll die just like I always do, too. I'll lose my life without knowing how I'm killed. This life is nothing but a dead end. I was born to be killed in this world. Die. Everyone fucking died. There's no reason to this world anymore. Ugh. Fucking leave. I can't put the words to my emotions anymore, and I started to cry. I was so lucky up until yesterday. I had so much hope in my heart, but it's all for nothing. It felt like everything was falling apart. I've lived for more than 100 years. I've lived longer than a normal human lifetime. I thought I was blessed with good fortune for the first time in my life. This would never happen to me again. I thought a miracle occurred, but everything was shattered. I cried and cursed this world. I needed to give up my life as soon as possible. Satoko would be waiting for me with a smile in my next one. I wanted to go see her, but what would happen to Satoko in this world? What would happen if I abandoned her? I didn't know, and I didn't care. Satoko? Satoko. I'm a witch who's lived 100 years, but I still couldn't rid myself of the emotions in my heart. I didn't get anything to eat because Satoko was supposed to be making dinner tonight. But I didn't have an appetite anyway, so I figured I'd just go to bed. I still had to make lunch for the next day, though. Satoko might come to school tomorrow. I rinsed the rice, hoping I wouldn't have to waste the lunch I was making for the two of us. I had to stop thinking like that. Alright, so you haven't run out of resources. You haven't tried to get Mion to mobilize anyone? Mion might do it. Let's go back. I mean, you've hit a wall twice. Come on. Come on. If this is your run, you go 100% on it. You're like, alright, we took a hit, we keep going. If you're like, this is my run, it has to be my run, especially because you're out of time to keep trying, you just keep going. Come on, step on the gas, call up Mion. I want to see her call up Mion and be like, fucking do something. I had to stop thinking like that. I already knew it was a waste to make her lunch. I already knew Satoko wasn't coming to school ever again. I felt actually, you know what? No. Ask Mion to get something from Satoko's house. Do that. That might be better. I felt miserable while rinsing the rice. The tears started dropping into it as I thought about her. Why was this happening in this world? I thought everything changed when Keiichi gave the doll to Mion. That world, Mion pretended to be her sister for a week and got closer to Keiichi. That wasn't happening this time. I thought we'd be having a good time until the festival. Wait, Shion's here. Shion's in school. Shion's in school. We can also work with Shion. We got both twins this time. Huh? Wait, that's odd. Mion pretended to be your sister for a week and got closer to Keiichi. In that world, Mion pretended to be her sister and got closer to Keiichi. That wasn't happening this time. I thought we'd be having a good time until the festival. That's odd. What that club activity 2 weeks before Watanagashi? I realized something. The club activity was the same, but it happened a week earlier than the world I knew of. It was 1 week earlier than in my previous life. Ah, I get it. I thought I was familiar with this world, but it's actually a different one where events are mixed up. That means even though Keiichi gave the doll to Mion, it didn't solve everything. I thought I was getting lucky. I was confident everything was going to be okay. I stopped making an effort. I knew there was a possibility Satoko's uncle could come back, but I let her do the grocery shopping. I should have been more careful and kept her home if I knew he was coming back to get her. I should be careful in my next life, but there wouldn't be a next life so fortunate. I didn't get lucky that often. Even if I locked Satoko in the closet, it'd be over if Reina's father fucked up or Keiichi lost his mind. I have to clear everything up that's not within my reach. And I also have to make the effort I can without that. I can't overcome my fate. In this life, I might be able to overcome my deadly fate with Takano's help, but Satoko won't be there in my future. This defeats the whole purpose. My goal is to survive while laughing with my best friends. I don't want to sacrifice Satoko to live, and I don't want to live in a world without her. I was blessed with all those fortunes, but I couldn't defeat my destiny. I've ruined everything because I stopped working hard. I won't again have a lucky life like this. Alright, retake it. We got Mion. We got Shion. I lost my first and only chance. I cried and scratched the floor. I didn't know if I should curse my fate or curse myself for not putting forth enough effort. Before I realized it, Hanyu was before me once more. I didn't know how long she'd been there. She just stared at me with a look of pity on her face. Hanyu, I know what you're trying to say. You want to tell me you told me not to get my hopes up. There's no way I'd get my hopes up. It being the first time I was blessed with so many fortunate circumstances. I thought everything would go well. You were always telling me not to expect too much. You probably felt something strange at the toy store that day. She realized the date was 1 week off and this wasn't the same old world I knew. She realized early on I still shouldn't be too excited about this life. I've been with you for a long time. Let me tell you this first before you ask me. I couldn't predict what fate held for us today either. The only advice I can give you is this. Fate in this world is as fickle as the weather. Nothing more than a trifle unworthy of joy or sorrow. There are 6 sides on a die, and that's the reality. It doesn't mean that 6 is the best number either. I should just take any number I roll. I shouldn't be disappointed if I roll a 1 a few times in a row. It's pathetic how I thought rolling 6 was the best result you could obtain. I have many things to learn. Though I've been living more than a century. I told you several times, this world's not a miracle. If you wait, you'll come across a real miracle someday. How many decades am I supposed to wait patiently? How many centuries do I have to wait? It's too hot, you're gonna lie down. Fair enough. Fair enough. We don't have much power anymore. I don't think we can go back to a time before June 1983. Time we can rewind keeps decreasing, and you're saying repeat it for years? I almost lost my mind when I repeated a few years. And you're telling me 1 or 2 weeks for years before the miracle happened? Impossible. Impossible. I was betting on this world. I bet all my coins on this one world, and I lost. I lost all my coins to this fate. Ignored? You're not ignored. Xenon will be annoyed, but he might be over-exaggerating it if he doesn't get a summary Anguife. Christmas Murasaki? Seems unlikely. I don't think you'll get it. I have no coins left in my heart. These coins are known as hope. I have no coins left to hope for my dreams to come true. Rika. I lay on the floor as if I collapsed. The floor should have been cold, but I didn't feel anything. So my hope. I always thought people could survive as long as they had bread and water, but that's not quite right. People can't live without hope. People can survive because they believe something good will happen to them eventually as long as they keep on living. But that's just for normal people who don't know what awaits them in their future. There's no such hope for a witch like me. I don't care about anything anymore. I don't care about this life, but I don't care about the next. I just want to disappear and turn to ash. Rika, please don't say that. Rika. Anyu's voice gradually fades away. I slowly lost my senses as I lay on the floor and let myself sink into the darkness. This would be a short chapter if this chapter ended here. Not impossible though. I think there's going to be a scene change instead. Yeah, here we go. Okay, I dragged my body to school hoping Satoko might be there. I'm hoping, just as I expected, there's no one sitting in her seat, and I felt all the more devastated just seeing it empty. I had nothing left to bet on. All I could do was get hurt and suffer devastation. No, you have Mion! Force Mion's hand! You're like, fuck it, the cops are watching her. Do something. Blood flowed from my broken heart and found its way out through my eyes in the form of tears. Something wrong for today? Is Hojo absent today? The whole class was wondering why I came in late and why Satoko wasn't with me. But even though I felt sympathy from everyone's eyes on me, I didn't feel any promise from them. No one here is able to save Satoko. No one. Not a single person here could save her. Why should I have to keep smiling at all these useless people? This world's finished anyway. You still haven't talked to Keiichi. Or Mion. Still haven't talked to Keiichi or Mion. If I leave matters alone, in a few days after the festival, my movie reel will be cut as I'm murdered like usual and I return to the beginning of this month once more. And so I'll continue to live forever in June 1983. Trapped. And even death won't set me free from that prison. Pretty, talk to me if something happened. Where's Hojo? Is she sick? Shut up. Shut up. The whole class gasped. No one expected Rika Furude to talk like that. I, myself, made such blunt statements a few times in several past worlds, but it was always the first time anyone in that world ever heard anything like that. It must have been very easy for them, and I envied it. Furude-san. Chie was standing there dumbfounded. I stood up from my seat. If Satoko wasn't around, I didn't want to be locked inside this humid place. Going home. I'm not coming anymore. Goodbye. I felt like saying something like that. However, I retained the small hope that Satoko might go to school the next day, so I kept it to myself. However, Chie wouldn't let me go. She grabbed me by the arm and dragged me to the teacher's office instead. Chie told me to take a seat on a couch by the principal's office. She had no right to tell me what to do. I could just escape through the open window. As I didn't have that kind of energy, however, I sat on the couch as she told me to and realized I didn't even have the energy to be rebellious. Maybe Satoko felt the same. She lost the energy to rebel and she was simply obeying her uncle. Furude, please tell me what's going on. I'm sure I can help you. Chie spoke to me, but I already knew her words were empty. We know Chie can't do anything because Chie is at best going to call social services and they're going to be useless and cause more problems. All she could do was call in the child consultation center. She wouldn't go to the Hojo residence and pull Satoko out of there. There's no point in even discussing the topic with her. If I told her, she wouldn't keep it to herself, and shortly everyone would know about what was happening with Satoko. It would only result in chaos. If they call the consultation center, the staff will go and visit Satoko. Her uncle will deny the abuse. Satoko will deny it because of the guilt she feels over Satoshi leaving, and shortly after they'll find about the false reports Satoko made. They'll decide not to proceed further. Her uncle will allow Satoko to go to school for a few days. But his abuse will get worse because he'll think she's the one who called the consultation center. He'll do horrible things to her like her aunt did last year. Calling the center will not help her. It will instead put her in a worse situation. It's better not to notify them at all. But if we don't report it, how else is the world supposed to improve? Well, nothing's going to change. There's nothing that can be done once this unfortunate fate overtakes Satoko. You say Hojo-san's uncle's back? Is that true? I somehow answered all of Chie's questions without noticing. I knew nothing would change whether I spoke to her or not. So I just told her everything because I had no energy left to rebel. I understand what's going on now. Helpful. So, now that you know what's going on, what can you do? She answered right away without faltering, used to my spiteful tone. I'll visit her house today. I need to see Satoko and talk to her first. Then if there's a problem. You're gonna call child consultation, right? They have it on record showing she made false reports in the past. They'll never do anything unless there's proof of abuse. They're just like the police. They don't start investigations until after someone's dead. And they won't do anything unless Satoko's killed. When that happens, this is what both the school and child consultation center will say. We never saw this coming. She was such a bright girl. They'll repeat the same words as if they were scripted. You people are idiots. I believe the people from the center will do something about it. I'll be sure to tell them that she needs help. You've done the same in previous lives, too. I wasn't denying her passion, but I couldn't say there was meaning to it. The problem wasn't with Chie, the problem was with them. No matter how hard Chie tries to seek help from them, it means nothing as long as they held biased notions about Satoko. Doesn't matter if they find proof of abuse or not. I suddenly heard a voice in the hallway. It was Shion's voice. Alright, Shion. Let's see. I said Shion's here, right? I said we had her in big sister mode. Let's see if we can do something. We got Shion here. This is the best route, the only route we've seen with Shion at the school. Alright. Come on, Shion. What can best girl do today? Chie shouted, who's there? And I heard Mion gasping. Crap. They must have been listening to our conversation. They were having a quiet discussion. We were having a quiet discussion outside the door, but Shion accidentally raised her voice. She gets so violent sometimes. 4 people entered the room from the hallway. Mion, Shion, Keiichi, and Reina. I told you to stay in class. Go back to the classroom. We can't. Not in this situation. Best girl's being best girl. What are you going to do if something happens to Satoko? Do you want to be responsible for that? There's no time to waste. We have to do something right now. My sis saying things will get worse unless there's some kind of proof of abuse, but it'll be too late once there is. Do you want to see Satoko dead, Mion? That's not what I'm trying to say. Like I told you, Satoko once made a false report to the abuse hotline. They have that record at the Child Consultation Center. Without proof, they won't investigate her case any further. Just think about what that means. It'll only make her uncle more furious. Satoko's situation will get even worse. The hell? The hell? They're supposed to help before something happens, right? Are they really not going to do anything unless she's seriously injured? Calm down, you two. I feel the same as Shi-chan and Keiichi-kun. I don't want to wait until something bad happens, but we need to think about what we can do. What can we do? Dr. Child consultation, right? If we had the guarantee they'd help her, it'd be fine. But Mion, you're saying it's highly likely they'll put her case on hold, right? Yeah, unfortunately, that's what I think they do. Just like last year. On top of that, she was in an even worse situation then. They put her case on hold, even though Satoko was already in horrible shape. This time, it's only been a day since her uncle took her away. Her uncle has legal custody of her. We don't need to be so roundabout. All we have to do is ambush that bastard and kill him. Shi-chan, you can't do that. Satoshi wouldn't want that. How do we save Satoko? Satoshi entrusted me. He trusted me to look after her. If anything happens to Satoko, I couldn't face him again. Having our hands tied until after Satoko's been thoroughly abused isn't an option. When a crime's taking place before your eyes, is reporting the first thing you do? No, it isn't. You stop it. We gotta stop this ourselves. Calm down, Shion. You're the head of the Sonozaki, aren't you? Use your power to save Satoko. You can do it, can't you? You have enough power to save her? I know. The Heg's policy is to stay completely out of Hojo affairs because of her grudge over the damn Kalvik, right? No matter what happens to Satoko, the Sonozaki main branch intends to ignore it, don't they? If neither Consultation Center or the Sonozaki save her, I'll do it myself. I'm doing it. I'm gonna kill that pig. I'm gonna do it right now. It's not gonna take more than 1,500 seconds for me to get to her house and stab him to death. What can you do in 1,500 seconds? You can't do anything, can you? I'll do it. I'm gonna help her. Let me go. Let me go. I'll kill him right now. Shion-chan, settle down. Stop saying that or you're gonna get into big trouble. They were desperately discussing how to save her. I sat on the couch and stared at them vaguely. I'd seen this same discussion many times in many different scenarios, and I was tired of listening to it. The only difference was everything was happening a few days earlier than usual. Because it's okay. I'm not going to expect anything good anymore. I don't have hope left in my heart. Hanyu made a sad expression. I couldn't tell if she was sad about her fate or if she was taking pity on me. Just as she promised, Chie went to Satoko's house after school. It had only been a day since Satoko's uncle took her away. He wouldn't be able to tell if he'd heard her already or not. If the students didn't make a big fuss about it, Chie would have waited a couple days before going to her house. She already knew, however, about what happened to Satoko the previous year. She also knew her uncle was abusing her like her aunt, and he neglected to act as her guardian for the whole year. Considering those factors, it might not have been too soon for her to visit the Hojo residence. Satoko hadn't showed up to school that day. No one called the school to explain her absence, and that alone was proof her uncle wasn't taking responsibility as her guardian. Chie was going to her house to see what was going on with her own eyes. I mean, you could say literally the first day she couldn't come in. Like, she parked the car in the street and checked the map she brought from the school. It said Hojo on the sign in front of the house. Chie was certain this had to be the place. The window on the second floor was open and she could see a curtain hanging there. From that window, she could hear the laughing voices of several older men. No one answered when the phone she called right before leaving. No one answered the phone when she called right before leaving the school. She could also hear the clicking noise of mahjong tiles along with the voices. She'd never played mahjong, but had a good idea that it was it from the way the men were talking. If they were playing mahjong, there must have been 3 other men inside the house. Her students told her Satoko's uncle was a very violent man. Chie was a teacher, true, but she was just a young lady. She felt hesitant to ring the doorbell after hearing their disgusting laughter. But courage drove her forward. She made her decision and rang the doorbell. She heard the bell ring inside the house, but the laughing voices continued to echo from the second floor. It seemed as though they didn't hear the bell. She rang it again, and this time the laughter stopped for a moment. Someone must have heard the sound, but soon after they started laughing again. It didn't sound like anyone was coming to get to the door. She thought someone heard the bell, but perhaps not. Chie was sure they were home, of course. She couldn't leave just because no one was answering the door. She knocked and yelled loudly this time. Hello? Are you home, Hojo-san? Finally, the laughter stopped, and a man with a scary look on his face opened the door. Who the fuck are you? Shut up and get the hell out of here! Chie felt intimidated by him, but her heart was filled with a teacher's pride and responsibility. Hello, are you Hojo-san? Before she could introduce herself, Teppei screamed at her. Shut up! I don't need no newspaper, no milk, no insurance! I'm busy right now! I'm working! The people in the room laughed when he told her he was working. Chie wouldn't give up. She continued to speak. I'm the teacher at Hanamizawa Bray School. My name is Chie. Is Satoko Hojo-san there? The hell do you want with Satoko? I came here because she didn't come to school today. I wasn't able to get a hold of her. I'm wondering what happened. School? Is she home? I need to talk with her. She's sick. That's right. She has a cold. Satoko's resting. She has a fever. I need to give her some handouts. May I please see her? Fucking idiot. Weren't you listening to what I said? Satoko's sick. She's sleeping right now. I can't let you see her. I see. You think she can come to school tomorrow? Who knows? Won't know until then. Idiot. I see. Alright. Tell her I came by. Thank you. Chie bowed, but by the time she lifted her head, Teppei was no longer there. Right. When Chie returned, several students emerged from the classroom. Keiichi, Reina, Mion, Shion. Rika was also inside the classroom, but she wouldn't come outside. Chie, how'd it go? You went to Satoko's house, right? You were all waiting for me? Obviously. Chie-sensei, how was Satoko? Was she okay? Well, I didn't get to see her. The hell were you doing? You're a teacher, right? You came back just because he didn't let you see her? Stop it, Shion. It's about what we expected. Satoko has a bruise on her face by now. That's why he didn't want to see her. You should have ran into the house. I can't even trust you anymore. Sorry. Stop it, Shi-chan. She did the best she could. Now we know for sure. Satoko's uncle definitely has her locked inside the house. We knew that from the start. Rika-chan has been telling you that all day today. We wasted half a day just to find out it's true? How the hell do you think you can help Satoko? Down. Let's make a plan. We care about her just as much as you do. We're not going to abandon her. Let's come up with a way to save her. I already gave you my opinion, didn't I? It's the best solution we have. I can handle it myself. I only need your help to hide the body. Stop it, Shi-chan. Stop saying just violent things. Murder's a serious crime. It's the worst thing you could think about. Well, give me a different idea. If my idea's wrong, give me a different one, even if it's only a little better. Come on. Come on. See? You can't even say anything. Look, I can save Satoko in 1,500 seconds. I'll just drag his body to the swamp and dump him there. I don't even need your help. What? You didn't come up with another idea for saving her? That's not the point. If you try to figure out yourself, it's all you'll think of. Let me tell you something. 1,500 seconds. That's taking way too long. I'd save her within 1,000 seconds. If I were you, I'd just leave here silently and do what I want to do. Do you know why I'm not doing that? Because someone told me once that even if it's the only option, that murder is still something you shouldn't do. It's not the right thing to do, and it's not the best thing to do either. You think that's the best solution? Because you're not thinking properly. Imagine a fully voiced Grand Order. Unlikely. It's a lot of dialogue. And that's a lot of dialogue. They'd have a backlog that wouldn't make them a lot of money. They could like maybe if they maybe like sold it as a game for like PC or some shit, maybe that'd be like a trick. Do a fully voiced Grand Order, they do that, but I don't know. A long time ago, I don't know who told me this, but someone taught it to me. If there's something that troubles you and you can't think about it on your own, you can't think that your own solution is the best way to conclude things. We should think about it together. If we all brainstorm, I'm sure we'll come up with a better solution. It's not about whether my idea is wrong or right. Just think about it. Every minute we waste puts her in more danger. Do you hate the Hojo family that much? No one's supposed to help Satoshi and Satoko, no matter how much they're struggling. I'm gonna help her. Get out of my way. I'm leaving right now. I'm gonna stab that loser and save Satoko. Just say there's for it. No, Shi-chan. You guys should curse yourselves. Curse your powerlessness. Fine. Brainstorm for another day. You'll never come up with one. Just go ahead and neglect her. You never really cared about her anyway. You only think of her as someone you can play with. I'm different. She's more than just a friend for me. She's like my family. I care about him more than you guys do. I'm gonna go kill him now. Goodbye. Wait a minute. What's it? You can try to stop me? Shion, you're not understanding half of what Rin is trying to tell you. Oh, I totally understand what she's saying. We can save her. With a little courage, needed to murder him, but she's spouting hypocritical garbage just to hide that fact. Shion, you think Satoko would appreciate it if you saved her by committing murder? I'm not trying to seek her appreciation. I don't care what happens to me. Her happiness is all that matters. That's not right. You're talking tough. I know you're scared. I mean, I think Shion could do it. In fact, you asked Mion to help you hide the body. In other words, you want to live a normal life after killing her uncle. You want us all to be happy, just like a few days ago, and you want us to be back where we were. But if you kill him, we'll never be like that again. Do you think you can commit a perfect crime? You'll be arrested for sure. Hard to face that. If I could end Soko's suffering by doing time behind bars, I'd pay that price. No, that's not true. You'd curse yourself, and I'd bet on that. You'd curse yourself and regret it, wondering how you drew the short straw and became a murderer. Then you'd finally realize what you really wanted. It wasn't killing your uncle, it was returning us to our happy lives. Your wish will never come true if you commit murder. Satoko will also curse herself. She'll blame herself, thinking she's the reason Shion became a murderer. In fact, who's gonna force Satoko to eat her squash if you get locked up? Who's gonna talk about setting up mean traps with Satoko? You're supposed to do those things, Shion. You gotta be by your side at all times. Don't kid yourself. What you're trying to do is not for Satoko, and it's a huge mistake. It's not a bad speech, actually. If that's what you're saying, do you have any idea of how to save her? You don't, do you? You're such a hypocrite. I said move. I'm killing him. I'm gonna kill him right now. Ichi blocked her way by standing in front of the door. Shion gave him a hateful glare, but he sent back a confident smile. I can't let you go, Shion. The world we all long for doesn't exist without you, and I'm not gonna let you go. Is that so? Well, I guess you're siding with Teppei. Just as guilty as he is, and I'm gonna bust your head open and kill you first. Hey, don't be stupid, Shion. Quit it already. Shion, what are you gonna do with that chair? Stop it. Put that chair down. He doesn't understand I'm serious, so I'll show him how determined I am. You better get the hell out of my way now. Shion, admit right now I have no better idea, but that's just for the moment. I'm sure we'll come up with a better idea eventually. I guarantee it. I promise you we're gonna save her. You have like 2 days. Please, okay? Trust your friends? If you're afraid of committing murder for Satoko's sake, you're not my friend anymore. And I'm not gonna tell you this again. Get out of my way. Calm down. Think about what you're saying. We'll save Satoko somehow. Just trust us. Don't try and look for a shortcut. Note that literally nothing other than killing Teppei actually saved. Note that in the route, we observed literally nothing happened to save her except for murdering Teppei Hojo. So, if they're gonna try that, good luck. If they're gonna try and solve it, it's gonna be tough because that was one of the walls we encountered. And the fact that people literally delay on anything means delay on anything makes it worse, right? Trust your friends? Trust me? I, Keiichi Maibara, I'm gonna save Satoko for sure. You can bet on it. Shut up, I can't trust you. What do you think you can do for her? Shion-chan. I don't know if this is Satoko route for him. Shion threw the chair at Keiichi. It hit him hard and the chair fell to the floor with a loud noise, but Keiichi was unfazed, even after being struck. He just stood in front of the exit without covering his face. Wait, he wasn't unfazed. A trail of blood was pouring from his forehead where the corner of the chair hit him. That was nothing. You thought I'd move out of the way? It's actually only a chair, honestly. it's a chair. You could probably catch it. I'm not gonna move even if you kill me. If I let you go, we might never see you again. Satoko will think about you every day, and her heart will be filled with sadness, and if that happens, there won't be anything we can do to make her happy. It's gonna be a sad life for her. I don't want Satoko to live in a sad world like that. The future we want is a wild and riotous one, like what we had a few days ago. Of course, I won't let Satoko's uncle threaten her longer. I haven't decided how I'm gonna do it yet, but I'll know soon. Wasn't his own answer that he had to kill her? Because literally nobody did anything while he was screaming at them. I'm curious if they're gonna actually come up with a plan here, because literally no one was willing to try. But maybe Shion getting this unbelievably tilted will change something. Maybe Shion's willingness to do something will change their opinions. 10 out of 10 Shion, by the way. Alright. I'll know soon, I promise, so please, just trust me. Shion wasn't yet convinced, but even so, she walked to the window and took her seat. Somebody rested a hand on Keiichi's shoulder. The principal, he'd been standing there and listening to him for a while. The principal, well done, Chie. I heard what's going on. Sorry for being so powerless. I know it's only been a day, but I think this is an emergency. We should report this to the proper authorities. No, sir, she's called the center before. They're not gonna help her anyway. It's just a waste of time. Shion raised her voice. The principal looked at Shion and started talking. Shion Sonozaki. There's one word I don't like. Do you know what that is? It's what you just said. The anyway that came out of your mouth. It's the cruelest word, which means admitting defeat before you fight. By the time you've uttered that word, you've lost your battle. I agree with him. I think we should try various options. The center should be the first on the list. If that doesn't work, we can try our second and third options. Don't give up before you try. It's just as bad as not helping at all. Principal, if you're reporting this, then you'll make sure to convince them Satoko needs saving, right? Of course. Ocha's my precious student. I'll do my best. They save her. Try to take action as quickly as possible. If we call now, they should get to her house later tonight. I hope they help her. But what if they put her case on hold? If that happens, we should come up with our next plan. As long as we don't give up, we can help her somehow. Your plan should be assume failure. I think the right plan, since it's not in your hands, is you let the principal, if you're gonna not do anything now, I think what you do is you sit down and plan assuming the principal is going to fail, and that it only makes things worse after a day. You're like, okay, how do we solve this if the principal doesn't immediately resolve this problem? Whatever you guys say. Satoka's getting hurt as we speak. Who's the one abandoning her here? Shion, I just promised you. We're gonna save Satoko, not by committing murder, but by saving her in a way that'll make her happy. Just watch us. I, Keiichi Maibara, promise you this. Shion stared out the window without looking at Keiichi's face. I'll try and find out what the consultation center decides tonight. I'll call everyone when I do. I hope they take her into custody. I can't be optimistic about it. I think there's a huge chance they'll put her case on hold. What do we do if that happens? If that happens, well... Chie-sensei. Let's go to the teacher's office. We need to make this call. Okay, the principal leaving. Yeah. We need to make sure they really understand. They left the classroom. Keiichi, Rana, and Mion got together and discussed their other options. Note, there's a few other things that might also cause this. Because they can say unironically that they had the entire classroom in an uproar over the fact that her uncle was back for literally 5 minutes. Like, literally back for 1 day. It's like, they can be like, dude, like, this must be, like, as legit as possible. The entire class was literally rioting over this shit, man. It's like, clearly they know something you don't. Which is why I think it's a good action getting tilted. Imagine getting tilted being slightly useful for once. Alright, Keiichi, Rena, and Mion got together and discussed their other options. Shion was looking down and crying. And Rika was vaguely looking at them as if staring at a boring TV drama. Nothing will change. The center puts her case on hold. I've seen it so many times in previous lives. I almost hope they'll take her into custody just this once. But I don't have anything left to gamble on a hope like that. In a previous life, Keiichi killed Satoko's uncle, but Shion wasn't there when that happened. When she is, I suppose she's the one who takes on the role. Their pathetic hopes will be crushed by tomorrow morning. Let's see how this goes. They caused enough of a ruckus. The social worker will be at her house tonight, but Satoko will deny she's being abused. Her uncle will assume she's the one who called the service, and he'll abuse her more. She'll come to school tomorrow because he doesn't want the center to be suspicious of him. We'll feel more and more hopeless when we see the dead look in her eyes. I've been living more than 100 years, but I've never defeated this fate. Fate of her uncle's return. I was blessed with so much luck, and I thought I could defeat it this time, but in the end it all came down to the same thing. A waste of energy to put in any effort. It was worthless. All worthless. The more I thought about this inescapable fate, the more I pitied the people for talking endlessly about how they're gonna save Satoko. It'd be funny if like Rika just came out and stabbed him and left. It was like, fuck it, I'm done. Fuck it, I'm done. I'll spend the rest of this route in a fucking prison cell. That'd kind of be funny, but I don't think it's a route where Rika does that. I feel like she's lacking motivation and hope. Teppei returned. Okay, here's our tip. Teppei returned to Hinamizawa to escape some trouble. He'd have to stay there for the rest of the summer, perhaps the year, and see what happened. For him, the house was like a dull hiding place. His lover Rina suddenly disappeared. Rumors told him she was involved in some dangerous deal. Some sources even told him she'd already been caught and killed. Everyone he knew was aware Rina was living with him. Everyone also assumed he knew everything about what Rina did. They were convinced he got the money by tricking her into doing something, and as a result some dangerous people came after him. It made it difficult for him to stay in Okonomiya, and more than anything it pissed him off to find out Rina was cooking up something behind his back with some other guys. Hinamizawa was about the only place he could go. He couldn't go back to the house where he used to live with his wife. It had been abandoned since he moved into Satoko's house. Why doesn't he? I got an option. I got an option. If the underground's hot on Teppei's heels, why don't you like tip them off to where he is? You're like, yo, assholes in this house, fuck him up, and leave the kid alive. Be like, get me on to use her Yakuza contacts to tell them to tell whoever's pissed off and wants to fuck him up where he is. And be like, we'll tell you, but in exchange, you gotta leave the blonde child in as good health as you can manage. And then she'll be like, yeah, oh, you're good? Okay, well, we want this person out of there. You want him dead. By the way, the cops are watching this. Do whatever. I don't think they'll attack though. The cops watching the house probably turn off like any underground team, right? Especially when they're like expecting the guy to be assassinated, and they want to protect him. Probably not going to happen anyway, right? If the government's like, well, that's too hot to intervene. If like government special forces think it's too hot to intervene without getting caught, I don't think random thugs will do it either. Besides, he didn't even have the key to his old place. If he went to Satoko's house, though, she should still be there. She could clean and cook for him too. He didn't know how to cook or clean, and he certainly wasn't thinking of learning. Rina had been rebellious towards Teppei. He often said that he wanted to be with someone more loyal, like a pet. For Teppei, Satoko is exactly what he wanted. As Satoko's still a little kid, she can't satisfy him sexually, but he can at least make her wash his back in the bath. Satoko's dead mother used to be a pretty woman. Satoko might grow up to be a pretty lady herself in about 4 or 5 years. Teppei headed back to Hinamizawa with those indecent thoughts in his head. The house was locked, so he assumed she's at the market for grocery shopping, and he found her at the store, dragging her back home. However, the house was full of dust. She'd been living at a friend's house for the past year, and the house had been abandoned. Teppei exploded in anger and told her it was her responsibility to keep the house in order. He beat her and kicked her down to the floor. Eventually, her expression returned to what he remembered from 1982, and she started obeying him immediately, cleaning the house. A new place to hide with a new girl. His new life was starting out pretty good. On the other hand, maybe there's another thought. If the wounds are too obvious... If the wounds are too obvious and she's apparently sick in bed, maybe the contradiction in his statements and the amount of injuries that are evident on Satoko's face on Satoko might be enough for them to do something, in which case making this ruckus early on might have been the trick. We'll see. His life was starting out good. Teppei called his buddies to show off his new beginning and ended up playing mahjong with them. He bragged about his new pet and made her serve them food and drinks. He told her to walk on all fours like a real pet. She refused, but obeyed immediately when he tried to hit her. Everyone was laughing. They were all jealous of him. He felt really good about himself. However, someone arrived to interrupt this perfect life. I'm a teacher from the school. My name's Chie. Is it Hojo then? He thought someone was at his door to sell insurance or something, but it was a school teacher. The hell? What do you want with Satoko? I came here because she didn't come to school today. I wasn't able to get a hold of her. I'm wondering what happened. Okay, so it's from his school? Yes, is she home? I need to talk with her. She's sick, right. She has a cold. She's resting because she has a fever. I need to give her some handouts. May I see her? Idiot. She listened to what I said. Toko's sick. I'm like kind of speedrunning this because we already read it. She's sleeping right now.
先輩
I can't let you see. That was gonna cause him problems. Teppei realized. Satoko was just a pet for him, and he had no intention of sending her to school, but her teacher showed up at his house because she missed one day. This wasn't good. Teppei hates schools, and he hates teachers. I see. Do you think she can come to school tomorrow? Who knows? I won't know until tomorrow. Idiot. I see. Alright. Tell her I came by. Thanks. He was able to get rid of the teacher, but it would create more problems if he didn't send Satoko to school tomorrow. Teppei didn't even need more trouble in this place. That meant he couldn't beat up Satoko like he wanted to, and violence was the only way he knew to communicate. With that out of the picture, it was difficult for him. He wanted to beat her up, but that'd leave evidence on her body. If that happened, he wouldn't be able to send her to school. And if she didn't go to school, the teacher would show up at his doorstep again. Ah, shit. On top of that, the child center paid him a visit to his house that night. The teacher must have filed a report. That bitch! Well, next time I'll beat her in the face so hard, she'll need plastic surgery. That would be funny. Since Satoko was afraid of him, she pretended she really was sick when the social worker visited. It was so easy for him to control her. He considered Satoko a convenient pet, but at the same time, he'd need to be careful of the center. Ah, hell, this ain't gonna work at all. Well, maybe he'll bail. Maybe he'll bail because it's already a mess from day one. That could be what happens. That might be interesting. Like I said, if you make enough of if they make enough of a ruckus on day one, maybe it's a problem, right? But I mean, that was a really good chapter, and I'm curious to see how this goes out. I think Teppei might just fucking book it. That'd be fun, but we'll see. I'm afraid we're gonna have to see that next time.